to Music City. First Bank Stadium, the place to be for this anticipated sellout. The first meeting in 35 years between Virginia Tech and Vanderbilt. Welcome to week one. Excitement at an all-time high. And welcome to the SEC on ESPN. Now, what a time to be alive as college football makes its triumphant return. Here at our broadcast position, we attempt to be very demure, very mindful, very classy on this opening Saturday. He is Sam Macho. I'm Roy Philpott. Welcome on site in the booth. We're glad to have you, Sam.
I'm so glad to be here.
It's an exciting time and an exciting game. I want to start with Virginia Tech because, Sam, we know about all their returning starters and expectations supremely high in Blacksburg.
And the hype is supremely high as well. And there's reason behind the hype. The reason twofold. Kyron Drones and Bashaw Tootin, running back and quarterback. Kyron Drones is efficient. He's a dual threat quarterback, can do it with his arms and his legs. And then you go to Bashaw Tootin from North Carolina A&T. FCS All-American. Last year, this Virginia Tech team scored 10 rushing touchdowns, 2 receiving touchdowns, 2 return touchdowns. He can do it all.
The Hokies in position, perhaps for the first time in a long time, to win the ACC and a dark horse for the college football playoff, the new 12-team field. Meanwhile, we talk about Vanderbilt. New Mexico State has shifted east, led by Diego Pavia, the Conference USA Player of the Year a season ago at quarterback. He gives the Doors a shot.
Well, he gives them a shot. Diego Pavia, the former New Mexico State quarterback who's now at Vanderbilt, actually beat Auburn at Auburn. And it's not just him who came over. It's also the head coach, Jerry Kill, who was at New Mexico State. Now he's on staff. It's Tim Beck, offensive coordinator. Now he's on staff. So that same New Mexico State field, who won back-to-back 10-win seasons, they're now here at Vanderbilt.
And Pavia is a player that can beat you in a number of different ways, on the ground, through the air. You mentioned the upset win at Auburn a year ago. They won by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, it was a big-time win, and Diego Pavia is a big-time player. He's not the largest individual, but he plays so much bigger than what you see on the field. He got voted captain after transferring here. That speaks something to his character.
Pavia, the long shot, who probably shouldn't be here, but here he is with a chance to lift Vanderbilt back to respectability to begin 2024. Hokies won the toss and deferred. And this near-capacity crowd at newly renovated First Bank Stadium, ready to rock, and so are we. Kyle Lowe set to kick things off. Junior Sherrill back deep to receive. The Hokies special teams, an unquestioned strength a year ago. And just another reason why expectations are as high as they've been in decades in Blacksburg. For more, we check in with Taylor Davis, TD.
Games at New Mexico State, and now SEC starting quarterback. Diego Pavia's journey has been anything but conventional, but he told me those experiences are why I believe I can compete at this level. In that Auburn upset, he showcased grit and an ability to create magic, which is exactly what the Doors want to see today.
Lane Stadium well represented here in Nashville. As Sherrill goes in motion, a pistol look for the Commodores on first down. Pavia with the option. And the keeper rumbling along the far side. A first down, a little bit more. 2 penalty markers fly in. And we'll check the infraction.
Offense, number 3. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Stuart Mullins leading this ACC officiating crew in a costly infraction to start.
Costly infraction, but get used to seeing that style of offense. The pistol offense implemented by offensive line coach Chris Klanakis, is going to be how this Vanderbilt offense gets their hay.
Klanakis, you may or may not remember, with that Nevada program, Colin Kaepernick back in the day. Commodores not penalized often a year ago. So after the gain and the penalty yardage is marked off, it's back to the original line of scrimmage. Let's do it one more time. Pavia keeps it again, upended crossing the 30. Stroman the stop, and a pickup of 7.
And the reason that play works, you see the pistol formation, running backs lined up behind the quarterback. As a defender, you don't know which side this zone read is going to go. Is it going to go left? Is it going to go right? That's the benefit of being in a pistol for an offense.
Second and short. Vanderbilt not in a hurry in this season opener. Hokies known for their defense a year ago. Virtually all the major returning production back in 2024 on both sides. Alexander will get the call, bounce it outside, and a first down for Vanderbilt. Year 4, Clark Levy, double major, or double degree, I should say, from Vanderbilt. Always introspective. We enjoyed our conversations with him and his staff this week. He has changed things up, Sam, in a major way to try to get this team to the next level.
Well, he had to change things up. Last year, this defense was 127th in the nation when it came to stopping people, and so he took over play calling duties. And he talks about not just the 12 Saturdays, but the other 353 days of the year implementing a defense.
But it's great having you in the booth. Love the energy. Love the energy of this crowd. Two teams trying to get to the next level this year. Alexander racing ahead for 2. Jaden Keller, the tackle.
I want to point something out to you, everyone watching. Look at the play clock. So here's what I want people to notice. Number one, we talked about these coaches saying they both wanted to shorten the game. Oftentimes what I've noticed is they're not running a play until 5, 4, 3 seconds left. And so that actually keeps the Virginia Tech explosive offense from getting more possessions.
Not to mention 4 straight runs to kind of kickstart that tone. 2 backs, Chase Gillespie on the field for the first time with Alexander. Hokies, one of the top pass defenses in America a year ago. Play action for Pavia. Tries to race to the edge and cannot, and Keller was ready and waiting. And a loss of 5.
That was a great play by Jaden Keller, but I want to start with the penetration up in the middle. You see that penetration right there. All of a sudden, Pavia has nowhere to go. You see the edge players leveraging the defense, making sure no one gets outside of them, and so brilliant play by Keller.
As a former linebacker, I feel your enthusiasm in a play like that behind the line.
Well, they're running the same play over and over again. They're going this inside zone, a really pistol formation, and so linebackers have to play a little bit more sound on the outside.
Pavia to the air for the first time, launching one deep, and the pass reeled in plus territory. Quincy Skinner, and a gain of 31.
.62", 205 from Pompano Beach, Florida. Mind you, that was 3rd and 13. Quincy Skinner, you're going to see him right at the left of your screen. He works on that release, and Pavia has time and he has space, and Quincy Skinner wins in one-on-one. The reason that matters is that you don't want to be in 3rd and long, but Pavia trusts his arm and trusts his receivers.
That was working against Mansour Delane, whose draft stock has been climbing at that cornerback position, and it's Pavia, the keeper. Bulls his way ahead across the 25. Stroman, the tackle, he went for a ride, and Vanderbilt on the move on its first possession.
All right, so eyes top of the screen, look at the edge, right, 26 right there. So he slips, you see another slip, and so what happens is that Jalen Stroman's got to maintain the outside shoulder, be on the outside shoulder of the quarterback. Let the interior players take care of the running game, and your edge defenders, your apex defenders, make sure everything stays on your inside shoulder.
Commodores will substitute on the offensive line. Stephen Hubbard checks in for the first time. The tackles will exchange positions as we go deeper into this game. You don't see that all too often. Alexander sandwich between 2 defenders at the 20. Sam Brumfield, the transfer from MTSU, his first tackle.
And I love your point about the tackles changing positions. Taylor mentioned this. They call it the quick side and the strong side. And so with their pistol formation, that strong side that's going to be the tackles that are to the tight end. The formation is a little bit different. They teach the tight ends, if there's a overhang player, essentially a player outside the tackle, for that zone read, I want you to arc and block the overhang player.
Empty backfield for Pavia on 2nd and 7. opening possession. And a jet sweep. It was dropped by Sherrill. He'll hop on top of it back at the 26, a loss of 5.
Talk about the negative plays, avoiding negative plays. We saw holding on one. You see the fumble right here by Sherrill. The ball's in his hands. You got to hold on to it. But one thing I've talked about, we talked about this with offensive coordinator Tim Beck, is he said, with this in-helmet communication, you can talk to the quarterback who has the green dot up until 15 seconds. He said, I might hold the call so that the defense, Chris Marv, defensive coordinator, doesn't see what we're going to be in, and he can't talk to his defender.
Third and 12. Pavia back to the air. Back shoulder toss and incomplete. There was some contact. Delane in coverage against Skinner that time. And it was Mansour Delane that got the better of that battle.
Great.
Brock Taylor trots on the field for a long field goal attempt after a good-looking drive by Vanderbilt.
Right, great coverage by Delane. That's actually a win, I would say, for both teams. A win for Vanderbilt when it comes to time of possession, but a bigger win for Virginia Tech. You're keeping them out of the end zone, forcing a field goal.
Taylor, a Tennessee native, out of Knoxville. Has ample leg strength. A 43-yarder from just inside the left hash. A 6.5-minute drive as Taylor bangs it through. Vanderbilt jumps in front, nearly halfway home in a fast-moving first quarter. No major injuries. Welcome back to Modelo Kickoff Week. One of our favorite times of the year. Will Ferris, after the Vanderbilt scoring drive, bangs that one into the end zone. Kyron Drones, the starting quarterback. Taylor Davis has more.
Yeah, Roy, and unlike last season, he's the undisputed starter to start the season, and he told me that brought a whole new sense of confidence. He said this offseason he challenged himself, step into more of a leadership role, accuracy in the passing game, and having full command of this offense. Now, Coach Pride told him and all of these returners, don't come back to be the same guy. He said, we've heard the hype, now we have to prove it.
Well, he proved a lot last year in the Military Bowl victory against top 25 Tulane in the rain, rushing for 176 yards, a Hokies record. And think back to some of the all-time greats in Blacksburg, Tyrod Taylor, Mike Vick. Kyron Drones be that next player. He'll keep it on first down, and he is a punishing physical runner. Brian Longwell on the wrong end of that collision, a 4-yard gain.
Punishing, physical as a runner, but he's very cerebral as a passer. 17 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He doesn't turn the ball over. And what Brent Pry challenged him with this season is, I want you to take more chances in tight windows. Let's see if he actually takes those chances against his Vanderbilt defense.
With 10 in the box, play action for Drones into the flats. Daquan Felton, hop, skip, and a jump towards the sideline. You went downstairs about an hour before kickoff and you saw Daquan Felton. It was impressive, was it not?
He's him, or at least he looks like him. Daquan Felton, 6'5", 216. There were some NFL scouts here, and Taylor was telling me that she talked to the scout for the NFL for the Bears and asked him, hey, who on this Virginia Tech team are you watching? And he said, everybody. They have so much talent, but it's Daquan Felton, number 9, and Jalen Lane. He's a smaller receiver, but they both have NFL skill sets.
Slot was uncovered for a moment. Tootin, he'll fake the jet sweep. And no surprise there, Drones, the finish and the first down. There's something that just feels right about Brent Pry returning to Nashville, a former Vanderbilt assistant coach under James Franklin. I don't know if it's the beard or the whole country music vibe, but I think he pulls it off here.
He does, and he's returning with some confidence and some swagger. Remember, he was at Vanderbilt. He helped turn this Vanderbilt defense around with James Franklin, and he built a team that actually turned into not only a confident team, but a team that could win. He's trying to do the same thing quickly in Blacksburg.
It's a 1-3 start last year. Different sense with the program this campaign. Tootin's going to be bottled up. Ran into a pile, and Longwell was there. No gain on the play. We asked Brent Pry, too, yesterday, have you changed at all with what happened a year ago, the strong finish, the slow start? I said, guys, I'm just more comfortable. And I think this team is more comfortable with everything that we're doing with our culture, the return, the true return of the lunch pail mentality. Gosnell goes in motion. They'll roll out drones, and Gosnell's got it. Stephen Gosnell, the wide receiver, tackled by Taylor. It'll be 3rd and short.
Colby Taylor, 6'3", 190 corner. He was named to college football's freak list for the 2nd time in his career. But I'm more impressed not just by Taylor, but the safeties and the disguise of this Vanderbilt defense. 3rd and 2, so you expect a run, but they're showing a lot of too high and trying to confuse Kyron Drones early. 2 safeties high, and at the end, right before the snap, they'll rotate to 1 safety high, and that gives the quarterback a muddied look.
12 personnel, Gosnell and St. Germain on the field at the same time. On a power look, Drone's going to take his time. He'll gauge the line of scrimmage, and I don't think so. Vanderbilt up to the challenge. He needed 2. He gained just 1. And decision time potentially for Tech.
Yeah, if I'm Virginia Tech, they are a go-for-it kind of team. It's right around the 50-yard line. They actually ran a fake punt last year right around this midfield. We call it the alumni zone. Between the 40 and the 40, you can take more risks. But I expect them to gift the ball, not to Kyron Drones per se, but let's get Bayshaw Tootin involved, man. Give the ball to Bayshaw.
65% on 4th down a year ago. Power look. They'll try to push Drones straight ahead. And he will get there all the way to midfield. Well, kind of a no-brainer decision when you've got an offensive line that has some size. You got the Moore brothers anchoring the center with Braylon and Caden, and they got the job done that time.
Yeah, they do have some size, and I go back to not only the size of the line, but the size of Kyron Drones. He's a big, strong, confident quarterback. So we saw this tush push last year. They're implementing it again because of his strength.
Tootin motions out. Drones wants to set up the screen. It's batted down and intercepted. Glenn Seabrooks. And a mass of humanity. 14-yard return. It was tipped by Brian Longwell. Here comes Vanderbilt.
If possessions matter, that tip right there by Brian Longwell is going to create momentum for a Vanderbilt team that needs it.
Buckle up. Welcome to Nashville. 3-0. And an interception off the deflection moments ago, Acho.
And so you're going to see a screen right here. Linemen are actually going to let inside linebacker Brian Longwell go through. And what happens is when you're going through, it's a screen. You think it's going to be a clear shot. Anytime it's a clear shot, get your hands up. He actually blocked a kick last year by having his hands up. And then Glenn Seabrooks, big man, gets the pig.
How about a true freshman from right here in Nashville, Davidson Academy, game 1. Rumbling and bumbling down after the pick. And Vanderbilt in position. And you wonder, does Pavia want to take a shot here? After that opening drive, 8 runs, 2 passes in 6.5 minutes, resulting in the field goal. Direct snap, a little trickeration. He'll fake the reverse. And a lot happening there for a gain of just a yard, maybe 2. Stroman sniffed it out.
So interesting play design. It's a direct snap to the running back. And yes, the play didn't work. You saw that potential reverse. But now you're just judging what is Virginia Tech going to do when we get in our running back behind in the quarterback position. So it was an unsuccessful play, quote unquote, but you're gathering information on this Chris Marv-led defense.
Chris Marv, the defensive play caller for Virginia Tech, a former Vanderbilt standout. 4-time All-SEC linebacker in Nashville. And a bright up-and-coming rising star in the coaching ranks now. Alexander, the stutter step, spun down hard. 3-yard gain. It'll be 3rd down. Kelly Lawson with a tackle, and big expectations for Lawson this year, the returning leading tackler from last year's Hokies defense.
Big expectations. This is a really big 3rd down play. So 3rd and 5 plus, usually you think it's going to be a pass, and it may be very well. With a 3-yard gain, I wouldn't be surprised if they attempted a run, because so far from what we've seen is that Virginia Tech's giving up a little bit of extra yards on some of these pistol formation run plays.
Play clock under 5. Around the right side as Chase Gillespie gets a touch. It'll be 4th and short. Needed 5. He gained about 4.5 on show, and you got to believe Vanderbilt. Clark Lee trying to institute a new era. These coaches coming in from Las Cruces wants to roll the dice.
Well, coaches from Las Cruces, but offensive linemen from everywhere. They've got a lot beefier up front. Stephen Lasoya, 6'3", 324 at center. Xavier Castillo, 6'5", 361 at right guard. Kevo Wesley, 6'4", 317 at left guard. There is beef in the middle, and they are getting pushed.
Commodores just 30% on 4th down a year ago on a timeout called by Vanderbilt. Gives us a moment to pause and reflect. 4th down and short coming up. .156 to go in our first quarter. 4th and 1 coming up. 3-0 our score. That's the Taco Bell Live Más student section all season long. Student sections across the country competing to be the Taco Bell Live Más student section of the year. Download the Taco Bell app to learn more. Monty Jones, the running back, and the transfer with Diego Pavia from New Mexico State on 4th and short. Pavia keeps it straight ahead through the A-gap. And a first down inside the 15.
This offensive line is getting so much push up front. You're going to see that gap in the middle. But I go back to yesterday's practice. Roy, we were watching in the last 15 minutes or so, Chris Klanakis was going through the offensive lineman on staying hip to hip, shoulder to shoulder, allowing no penetration. When you're 4th and 1, you don't allow penetration. That automatically leads to first downs.
Pavia had something to say after he got up that 4th down conversion. Wearing number 2, he's doing his best Johnny football impersonation so far. We saw Johnny Manziel on game day today. It was great to see his return again to College Station, straight ahead in a gain of just a yard. But Pavia thrives off of that kind of mentality. Challenge him, doubt him, as he's been doubted his entire career. Going back to high school when he won a state championship as a wrestler. It's that kind of mentality that gives Vanderbilt a chance this year.
He's a competitor. He was told when he transferred that, hey, you're going to have to compete for the starting spot. He said, man, don't worry, I'm going to get that starting spot. And not only did he get it, he got voted captain by his teammates.
Arrived on campus this summer. Graduate transfer from the Aggies with a path, a spin, and that's it. And Virginia Tech's defense stands tall. Kelly Lawson again. And Tech forcing that long field goal moments ago. They force another field goal attempt here. That's a win for the Hokies and the all-white unis today.
A big-time win, but Virginia Tech hasn't been able to stop much. And so looks like it's going to be end of the quarter, but those linebackers and Marv got to bring more pressure to slow down Pavia.
Commodores on the ground again in a 3-0 lead.
We're back in Nashville. Vanderbilt with a 3-0 lead. Coach Lee with me now. Coach, you have an opportunity to get into the end zone here. What are you looking for?
Well, we need to get it in the end zone. Obviously, we're not going to win this game kicking field goals. Obviously, Brock was able to strike the first one through, but I'm looking for the offense to punctuate this drive in the end zone. It's 3rd and 9. We got some work to do, but I believe they can do it.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Taylor, thank you. Start of our second quarter. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis. 3rd and 9. Pavia with a shotgun look. Heaves it toward the end zone. Skinner. Oh, he was there for the touchdown.
Big time play by Quincy Skinner. So not only do you see him high point the football, but he gets that left foot inbounds. And as you see Mansour Delane still trying to fight at the end to pull it out, he's unable to. Quincy Skinner won on the line of scrimmage. We talked about it, 6'2", 205. He's got length from Pompano Beach, Florida. They love to compete down in Florida. But that's the competitor's spirit you see in Skinner, in Pavia, and in this coaching staff bringing this fight to Vanderbilt.
Blanket coverage, no issue. You may not see a better touchdown grab in the early window today than that one right there by Quincy Skinner. And don't look now, but Vanderbilt with the extra point jumps in front of Virginia Tech 10-0. We check in with Matt Berry back in the studio.
Roy Philpott, good afternoon. Fairfield by Marriott studio update. We are going to keep it for the ACC audience. Pitt and Desmond Reed. One bounce, 5 missed tackles, 85 yards later, Reed. Punt return to the house. Pittsburgh up in this one, 14-7. Kent State did come back. Sam Acho, we miss you in studio. Enjoy your gig.
I miss you guys too, Matt Berry. Been having too much fun here with Roy Philpott. And tell Joey Galloway I say what up.
Joey, hope you're doing well, buddy. Been a long time. Hope you guys are doing great. We're doing fantastic here. And Quincy Skinner, 3 touchdowns a year ago. The toe tap, a brilliant finish. Again with blanket coverage, nothing easy about that grab.
Blanket coverage, but somewhat of a loose blanket. Off the line of scrimmage, Mansour Delane missed on his jam. And so with that, there's a little bit of separation. College, I get it. That's like in the NFL, that's wide open. College is a little bit different though. And so Mansour Delane's got to be better, especially when they're in man-to-man, and especially when you know you're on the single receiver side. You don't have as much safety help on that fade ball.
That's 9 years in the NFL talking right there, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to learn something today. Will Ferris back on the field for Vanderbilt. Tootin had 2 kick returns for scores a year ago. He can absolutely take one to the house with a full head of steam. Racing across the 30, stopped at the 32. Now, don't forget our Labor Day weekend. ESPN, ABC college football lineup rolls right along today. The Sunshine State Showdown, 3:30 Eastern. Miami travels to the Swamp. Hurricanes ranked in the top 20. You got Notre Dame and Texas A&M, another showdown tonight. Then tomorrow, college football in primetime. SC 23rd in the land against number 13 LSU from Vegas. And then Monday night, Florida State, Mike Norvell. The revenge tour starts now after Ireland last week against Bill O'Brien. Welcome back to college football. And the Boston College Eagles, Labor Day night. About 5 straight days of college football to start week number 1. Tootin brought down to the backfield by Langston Patterson. And Vanderbilt's defense got an extra pep in its step right now.
Well, they're playing Clark Lee football, intelligent football. They're showing so when you watch the safeties, they have 2 safeties up high, and that gives some confusion to what are they going to be when the ball is snapped. Are the safety's going to stay high, the middle field's going to be open? Are they going to rotate? Recently, they've been rotating, and that's what allows the linebackers to be able to run through and make plays, because Kyron Drones is confused by what's being shown.
Drones to the air. And a quick toss to Felton, Daquan Felton. Graduate student, started his career at Norfolk State. Another catch and the tackle by Tyson Russell. A gain of 8, 3rd down.
So there's in-helmet communication this year in college football. So up until 15 seconds or until the ball is snapped, offensive coordinator Tyler Bowen can talk to Kyron Drones. So all these formations or shifts you're seeing, he's telling him.
Yeah, it's a different vibe this year. On the swing, and I don't think so. Tootin couldn't even get back to the line of scrimmage, and here comes a penalty marker in late. And on 3rd down, hold it right there. A critical call coming from this veteran officiating crew out of the ACC. Ducati involved in the tackle.
Actual play was over. Personal foul. Late hit out of bounds. Defense number 1. 15-yard penalty. First down.
So the 2nd infraction against the Commodores, the least penalized team in the SEC a year ago.
I don't like that call. Hey,
as a linebacker, I'm not shocked.
Hey, he was tripping over. I mean, so you're running to the football. There's feet on the ground. You trip over your other defender. I don't love the call, but hey, defensive mindset. Hey, you move on. You dominate again.
Patterson and Zaylen Wood involved in the penalty out of bounds. The sideline is not that wide in Nashville. Touch from Malachi Thomas, his first. Amarian Thomas with the tackle. And a gain of 4 yards. And Virginia Tech with that penalty, Sam, already in Vanderbilt territory.
And already with some momentum. Tyler Bowen, offensive coordinator for Virginia Tech, earlier said, hey, we got to run the football. And I get it. You got to run the football. Don't get away from the run. But you have some big play receivers on your team. Guys like Jalen Lane, NFL scouts are watching him. Guys like Daquan Felton, NFL scouts are watching him. Sooner or later, you have to be able to get the ball to your playmakers.
2nd and 6. They'll fake it to Thomas. The slant route unavailable. Jalen Lane, his first target. Dante Carter, the freshman, helping prevent that potential completion. It's 3rd down. Where is this Vanderbilt defense? Where was it a year ago? And Clark Lee taking over the play calling duties now. An emphatic statement perhaps to be made on this play. An impressive start already.
It's all about disguise for Vanderbilt and Clark Lee. It's all about trying to change the picture for Kyron Drones. So don't give him a clear look early, but that's when that headset communication comes in. Bowen's got to talk more.
Screen pass broken up and batted down. Lane, the intended receiver, and Vanderbilt's Randon Fontenette, the transfer, has had an incredible preseason.
Randon Fontenette from Freeport, Texas, transfer from TCU. Look at him get outside of the blocker and meet the receiver when the ball is being caught. That's what that tells me is not only is that film review, but it's also knowing your leverage. Little things done well make big things happen. Your leverage outside made that play happen.
Peter Moore, the number 25 jersey, honoring the great Frank Beamer, retired back in 2002. That number 25 jersey. Honoring Virginia Tech special teams as that caroms into the end zone for the touchback. Net of just 23 yards here in Music City and a 10-0 lead. Here in Nashville, Tennessee, 10-0 Vanderbilt leading Virginia Tech. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis here tonight's SEC college football games on ESPN Plus, SEC Network Plus. Mississippi State, Eastern Kentucky up first at 6. Ole Miss, number 6 in the land, hosting Furman at 7. Auburn and Alabama A&M at 7:30. Download the ESPN app or go to ESPNplus.com/schedule to watch. Play action. The slant's there to Skinner. Still on his feet. And how about that play call on 1st down? Virginia Tech on its heels. Vanderbilt takes advantage.
Hey, in the studio, we talk often about helmet stickers. Give Quincy Skinner a helmet sticker early. So we've seen a lot of this zone read action, a lot of this pistol action. This is the first time that we saw them off of the pistol go to that pop pass, essentially. And so this is the second iteration of this offense. Show the linebackers one thing, show the defensive line and the safeties one thing, and then do another.
The first down throw today for Diego Pavia. I didn't know if it was a helmet sticker or $1, according to Matt Berry. Here's the option. Pavia bottled up. Virginia Tech up to that task. Jalen Jones. You mentioned during the break to our crew, Acho, some hidden yardage gained by Vanderbilt in that last special teams play.
Well, I spent this week watching Vanderbilt special teams because they're known for great special teams, but right here, they're not. Both number 0, Kelly Lawson, and Stroman have to run to the end line. They have to get to this end line right here and build a wall. It's unbelievable that they would stop at the 10-yard line, especially in a +50 punt. You know your punt is going to block it, going to go all the way down to the end zone, so you got to get to that end line and stop that ball. Frustrating to watch.
Jones after the TFL. Pavia slings it. Junior Sherrill into Virginia Tech territory near midfield. It'll be 3rd and short. Mose Phillips brought him down, a 9-yard pickup. How surprised are you with what we've seen so far from Vanderbilt on both sides of the ball?
I'm not overly surprised, Roy. You, me, and Taylor were talking about this Vanderbilt team after sitting with the coaches and Taylor spending time with the players. You could tell there's a new sense of confidence, but this has been the game plan. New Mexico State did this last year. They did this the year before. We're seeing that New Mexico State offense implemented here.
Two yards needed to keep this drive alive. Pavia sensing the pressure from the backside, gets it to Skinner. Needed 2. He gained nearly 4. Jaden Keller, the tackle. The drive continues.
And one thing I noticed about that drive, Roy, is, and on the last drive as well, Virginia Tech starting to bring more pressure. They're realizing we're not getting to the quarterback, and so we're going to actually bring more pressure in order to try and get a sack. The issue is when you bring pressure, you have less people in coverage. So more people rushing, less people in coverage, more open space.
And Caleb Woodson trying to get to the Vanderbilt quarterback on that backside. 3 passing attempts for Pavia on this possession. Run heavy to start. They'll fake the swing pass. Pavia takes off, a little shake and bake. Stop to the 42, a 4-yard gain, and that is exactly where Vanderbilt wants to live on this day. Second, third, and manageable. Taking their time, shorten the game, not a large number of possessions. We saw that a week ago in Ireland, didn't we?
Yeah, and not going backwards. We saw that fumble early from Vanderbilt. We saw a couple penalties of holding on that first series, but they're getting forward, getting positive yardage rather than either getting stopped or getting negative yardage. To me, that stands out. The offensive line specifically is getting pushed on Virginia Tech's defensive line.
Four-man front, Alexander with a hurdle. And close to another Vanderbilt first down. They'll give it to him. A hop, skip, and a jump, no problem for number 28, freshman All-SEC a year ago.
From Austin, Texas, Cedric Alexander led Vandy in rushing touchdowns last year. SEC all-freshman team hurdling over Mose Phillips III. You can't see me, I do this.
Phillips, the Nashville native, coming home and having to deal with that from Alexander. Approaching 8 minutes to go in the first half. And a surprise in this ACC-SEC battle. A consistent theme on this Week 1 Saturday. Amari Copeland able to bring down the ball carrier, but not before Alexander picks up 6 more.
We talked with Tim Beck, the offensive coordinator for Vanderbilt, and he looked at Alexander when Tim Beck came in this year and was like, man, he watched the film. He's like, this dude can play ball. As a freshman, was dominant. Now all of a sudden, in the area of transfers, they have over 50 new players on the team. Alexander's a guy who's been here, who's done that. He's got the playbook.
Second and 4. Pavia off the pump fake. Wanted to run it. He'll gain a couple. Jaden Keller ushering him out of bounds. That clock cranks back up, a 2-yard gain. It's a new year in college football. The 12-team college football playoff introduced this campaign. Helmet communication between the sideline, the quarterback, and also a defensive player. And it looks like a brand new Vanderbilt program under a 4th-year head coach that has found its mojo early. Hokies will load up the box, power look. Pavia keeps it. He's got a first down to the edge and a little bit more. Into the red zone for the Commodores and a 7-yard gain.
So one thing that I love about this offense is the fact that they're creating space and creating leverage. You're going to see all these 3 linemen block, block, block. You're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4 guys to the left of the center. And now all of a sudden you have a longer surface area to have more space and more leverage for Pavia and for that defense to have to stretch out as opposed to getting vertical.
It's not quite student body left, but you get the idea. Certainly one way to do it. Third drive for the Commodores, their 3rd trip into the red zone. Alexander breaking tackles, spinning his way for a first down. It'll be first down and goal for Vanderbilt. Alexander rumbling for 13 more.
And linebackers Kelly Lawson, Sam Brumfield, Brumfield transferred from Middle Tennessee. You see 2 missed tackles. Why does this matter? Last year as a freshman, Cedric Alexander was the only SEC freshman with 4 or more rushing touchdowns. Let me say that again. Cedric Alexander from Vanderbilt, the only SEC freshman with 4 or more rushing touchdowns. He led SEC freshmen with 371 rushing yards, so he's confident he's not intimidated by anybody.
28. Black and white is not intimidated by anything. Case in point. There's another touchdown. Alexander. The legs were churning backwards into the end zone. And confidence growing by the second for the team that was predicted last in the SEC this year. An early statement against the Hokies. Brock Taylor's extra point. 17-0.
Give the helmet sticker to the offensive line and to Cedric Alexander. Running people over. Stowers with the block. Vanderbilt 17-0.
5:18 to go. Quick moving first half. Cedric Alexander, a touchdown. Vanderbilt, the 17-0 advantage. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott. It's time now for our Aflac trivia question. Can't wait for it. On the Vanderbilt front, you think back in time, who was Vanderbilt's last skill position player, Acho, to earn first team All-SEC honors?
Roy Philpott, I don't even have a guess.
No guess?
I don't even have a guess.
No guess at all?
No guess. Who was Vanderbilt's last star skill position? I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Bashal Tootin, explosive kick returner with a path and a crease. And a good run back ahead to the 32. Originally, when I saw the question just seconds ago, I thought back to Jake Cutler, the quarterback. But I mean, that's 2005. It's got to be more recent than that. And they've had some other guys. When James Franklin was here, think back to those teams that upset Florida and Georgia. They had some wins. I don't think it's a running back.
I think it's got to be receiver.
I have a guess. 1st and 10 for the Hokies. Important possession now for Virginia Tech. Came in as a heavy favorite. Just their 3rd possession, and Vanderbilt's game plan has worked very well so far. And incomplete. Right through the midst of Felton. Nearly picked off by C.J. Taylor.
So you see Kyron Drones going to get the ball out quick. Felton's got to catch that. Taylor, I get it. It was a little bit stretched out, so hard to catch, but that's a play. Oftentimes, after missed interceptions, big plays happen for the offense. And so if Virginia Tech gets some momentum, that might be a play that led to it.
The pressure mounting. First meeting between these two teams in 35 years. Drones avoided the pressure. And another interception to Ricky Wright. Well, they'll rule it incomplete. For a moment, it was close. And a brief conversation, they will say he did not have possession. And fortunate for Kyron Drones. We did not see him make these kinds of mistakes a year ago.
We did not. And part of the reason is this. So this is a new defense, and Ricky Wright cannot hang on to the ball, unfortunately. New defense. And so some of it is you don't know exactly what to expect. And then secondly, with the disguise, you're wondering, why is Kyron Drones throwing it to the defense? Well, if you don't know what's going to happen beforehand, it can make it more difficult to anticipate afterwards.
With the initial look on the replay, it was very close. 3rd down, empty backfield. Drones quickly, the slant. Jalen Lane has it. Close to the line to gain, and he is right there. They'll give it to him. The biggest play for Virginia Tech's offense so far. A gain of 11 on 3rd and long.
Yeah, I love what Tyler Bowen just did there and going to an empty formation. Why do I say that? Because when you're a defense and they go to empty, you can no longer disguise. You have to go and cover who you're going to cover. And so what that does is it exposes what defenses are going to do. And so if you're playing man-to-man, you got to show it. Playing too high, got to show it. Empty helps.
A break for the Hokies. They take advantage of the quick strike. Penalty marker comes in. The neighborhood of holding. And we've seen a little bit more of Jay Lane on this possession. And now Bashal Tootin.
Hold it. Offense number 65. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Xavier Chaplin.
So when you get a little bit of momentum, obviously penalties don't help you. But when you're starting to get a little bit of positivity, penalties hurt even more because now it's obvious pass, first and forever, obvious pass. And it gives the defense a little bit more of a read on what you're going to do. But if I'm Bowen again, I would try to get more to empty so there's no more disguise of what defenses is trying to do.
A stunning beginning in Nashville. Thomas motioned out. Lane has it again. Off the tunnel screen. has a first down into Vanderbilt territory. And the first true big play for the Hokies nets 24 yards.
So you're going to see a great block by Moore. But what I love about that play is the tunnel screen. So two things. You saw the running back motion. That almost simulates an empty formation. So the defense becomes naked. And then tunnel screen, perfect blocking up front by the interior. Braylon Moore led that charge. But you're getting the ball into your playmaker's hands. You're giving it to 83 and 9. Those are the targets, the guys that have to get the ball.
Braylon Moore moved to center a year ago. His brother Caden flanks him the interior of that Hokies offensive line. Good fake from Drones. Barrels his way ahead to the 36. The stop by Longwell. Labor Day weekend, ESPN and ABC college football lineup continues today. Miami and Florida from the Swamp on ABC at 3:30 Eastern. Notre Dame and Texas A&M in prime time tonight. SC and LSU Sunday. College football 7:30 ABC tomorrow. And then don't forget Capital One Labor Day kickoff. Florida State and Boston College. Another ACC tilt for Mike Norvell's Florida State Seminoles. After the upset in Dublin, Lane with a jet sweep on second and short. The third and less than 2. Nacho, you can feel the sense of urgency for Tech's offense here after not getting a lot of touches, not getting a lot of snaps in this first half. You got to get down to business.
You talk about game plan all you want, but until the game starts, your game plan may actually change. And so we're seeing that change. Put the ball in Jalen Lane's hands. Give Daquan Felton an opportunity. Let's get the ball on the edges more of this Vandy defense.
And where is Bashal Tootin? He has yet to really get involved the way that we know he can. Drones kept it inside the 30. He'll be marked down there with C.J. Taylor chopping him down. 2-minute timeout time. Yeah, welcome to the new college football.
I'm Matt Berry. Coming up on the Avocados from Mexico halftime report. Battling the beds between Clemson and Georgia. We'll take a look at those highlights. Plus Pitt, West Virginia. We knew that game was going to be good. Penn State, West Virginia, rather. Highlights of that. Plus we'll preview Notre Dame and Texas A&M. And some tableside guac served. Avocados from Mexico. Halftime report.
Matthew, thank you very much. Back in Nashville. Samacho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis, Virginia Tech. Its deepest drive of the day into Vanderbilt territory. Trailing by 17. And the Hokies do get the second half kickoff, which is critical here given their current set of circumstances.
Deepest drive of the day, but only their third drive of the day. This is exactly what Vanderbilt wanted. They wanted to shorten the game. How do you do that? Well, you let the clock run all the way down to 3, 2, or 1. How else do you do that? You force interceptions. You force turnovers. How else? You get a stop right here before halftime.
Benji Gosnell went in motion. Fake the toss to Tootin. He'll get the swing pass. Mano a mano. And he'll take a Vanderbilt defender for a ride. That was Ducati, Boubacar. And Tootin's going to pick up a positive gain of 5 on a play that could have gone for a TFL.
Yeah, missed tackle by Langston Patterson. But here's what I like. Get the ball out quick and get it to your playmakers. Bashal Tootin is a playmaker. Jalen Lane is a playmaker. Daquan Felton is a playmaker. Get it out quick to them and let them make plays in space and out-athlete the defense.
On the reverse, they'll swing it back. And Takai Heath, his first touch. Redshirt freshman out of Richmond. Played in a couple of games a year ago and redshirted.
Yeah, there's somewhat of a tighter split by Heath. That allows this play to work. I thought it was going to be stopped initially, but great vision by Takai Heath, setting up the blocker, saw that outside step, and then cut back inside. Positive yardage in a critical, we call it the 4-minute situation. Last 2 minutes of the first half, because they received the ball in the second half.
Thomas and Tootin on the field at the same time. It's Virginia Tech offense returning 95% of its production from a year ago. Best in the country. Tootin stays in bounds. And it'll be first down and goal for Virginia Tech. Well, you get the sense the more we see of number 33, the better it will be for the Hokies. And an injured Vanderbilt player remains down on the turf near the 19. Sidnor stays down as we step aside in Nashville. Capacity crowd on hand at First Bank Stadium. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis. Your eyes do not deceive you. 17-0 our score. And as we went to that last break, a holding call, Acho, was whistled.
Right there by Daquan Felton. So Daquan Felton's holding Miles Capers. Miles Capers is an edge player, 6'4", 250. The coaches said he's flashed. That size and strength has helped him as he presses the edge.
Instead of 1st and goal at the 2, it's 1st and 20 at the 29. Kyron drones to the air. Dump off to Thomas. Out of bounds. Short of the 20-yard line. Tech does have all 3 timeouts remaining. Capers was there to stop that gain to just 5.
And sometimes you wonder as an outside linebacker, how can I affect the game? Let's say they're running it inside all the time. How do I affect it? Well, right there, you saw him in coverage, able to make the tackle. The play before, there's a wide receiver trying to block you. Wide receivers can't block edge players, and so that has to be your mentality to affect the game.
2nd and long. Drones going to buy some time across his body. Incomplete, looking for Felton. 3rd and long. Slow start for this Hokies offense. Kyron Drones, 8 completions, 66 yards and a pick.
Talk about the importance of this drive for Virginia Tech. How important is this drive for Vanderbilt? If you get a stop, hold them to a field goal, you go into go into the locker room at halftime with even more confidence.
Hokies under 100 yards of total offense so far. Quick strike, Drones to Jalen Lane. Need to make one defender miss, and he could not do it. Randon Fontenette started his career at TCU. Has been incredible, we've heard, in preseason camp.
Well, he was a former high school quarterback. You see him dropping into coverage. He was a number 9 safety in the 2023 recruiting class. So this dude knows ball.
Timeout called by the Commodores. 4th and long, and perhaps a Virginia Tech field goal coming as we take a look now. Today's weekend lineup brought to you by Wendy's Saucy Nugs. Pick your poison. There are so many great games on ESPN networks, on ABC. What do you like?
I love that Notre Dame at Texas A&M. We heard Kirk Herbstreit earlier, even actually was Nick Saban, say how loud that stadium is. I've played there in college. That's the loudest stadium I've ever played in. And the reason that matters is that Notre Dame has young offensive linemen, so the crowd's going to be rocking. They won't be able to hear the snap. I'm thinking upset.
That was Texas A&M back in the day. The good news there is those 2 teams will play again for the first time in 13 years later this fall. I can't imagine the warm reception you received there at Kyle Field.
I don't know if warm is the correct word. Frigid, freezing, more like Antarctica.
John Love, 22 of 24 a year ago. One of the top kickers in America, 92%. And Virginia Tech known for its special teams. Finally on the scoreboard from 40 yards out. 17-3, 2-possession game. Less than a minute to go in our first half. And I know everybody's on pins and needles. Who was Vanderbilt's last skill position player to earn first-team All-SEC honors? We think receiver. I'll go Jordan Matthews.
Oh, that's a great pick.
Jordan Matthews.
I'm going to second that.
Yes.
Let's go. I forgot about J-Mac.
Back in 2013, nearly 1,500 receiving yards. There's some pretty big names there. OBJ, Mike Evans. These are guys that have made their careers, lengthy careers in the NFL.
And Jordan Matthews has a great NFL career as well. He's also a good human. Playing tight end now, but I got a chance to know him in my time in the NFL. Great player, but even better human.
Just remember when he was here, things just happened for Vanderbilt offensively. You knew it was going to Jordan Matthews, and it didn't matter. You couldn't stop him. We did get that win, though, didn't we? We got it. That's a win.
That's a win for team. Is it Team Philpott, Team Sam?
Team Macho.
Team Taylor Davis, Team TD, Team Big Dog.
That's it. I like that. I'm so glad you could join us. You feel the nervous energy emanating from Blacksburg. A lot of football left to be played here. And a great start for that young man, Diego Pavia. And the Vanderbilt offense coming in from New Mexico State, a 10-win team last year. Off the bounce, here's Junior Sherrill. Commodores with a timeout, and Sherrill will bounce his way across the 25. Well, this season, Allstate will celebrate every field goal and extra point made by participating universities by making a donation to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, Allstate. So you're used to spending your Saturdays in the studio. I think we've got it better here on site at these games.
Oh, absolutely. I know right now Joey Galloway is kicking his feet up, got his sweats on, eating some chips, watching the game. But we're here. We're in it. I love it.
Commodores have it. Pavia just one incompletion in this first half. 5 for 6, 80 yards and a touchdown. Hokies will show pressure. A full complement of timeouts to work with if Brent Pry wants to be aggressive. Deep handoff bottled up the TFL. APR, first time we've used the acronym. Antoine Powell-Ryland. Big things expected from him this year. He'll get the stop behind the line there.
Timeout. Virginia Tech. Their first of
The Hokies with 2 timeouts remaining. Powell-Ryland, an All-ACC second-team performer a year ago.
Please reset the game clock to 40 seconds. 40 seconds, please.
If you're a fan of the Hokies, you're not pressing the panic button just yet, are you? You got a lot of time left.
Yeah, a lot of time. Played your worst half so far, and if you get a stop, you might have some momentum.
Impressive start for Diego Pavia. TD, what do you have down there?
Yeah, you could say that, Roy. Along with the helmet comms this system, guys, this season, we also have tablets down here on the sidelines. I don't think anyone's been utilizing it more than Diego Pavia, and he always has a group of guys around him leading conversation. Keep in mind, he may be a new face here, but this is the same offense that he ran with offensive coordinator Tim Beck last season. He arguably knows it better than anybody.
It's interesting, too, because it was Tim Beck that came to Vanderbilt from New Mexico State. Diego Pavia, head coach Jerry Kill is now the associate head coach of the offense here. Eli Stowers and Monty Jones. So the entire Aggies offense and its production, the bulk of it now playing in the SEC. After the Hokies timeout, quick gain to the 30. And Brent Pry likely to utilize another stoppage. And he has Peebles, the Duke transfer, the tackle. 35 seconds to go in the half. It'll be third down.
Virginia Tech. Their second of the half. 30 seconds. Timeout.
Well, our stellar SEC football lineup rolls on today. The SEC Network, Williams-Brice Stadium, South Carolina hosting Old Dominion at 4:15 Eastern. Cap the night off with Kentucky and Southern Miss over on ESPN Plus, SEC Network Plus. Bulldogs and EKU, 6 Eastern. Ole Miss in the top 10. Jackson Darden Company getting Furman out of the SoCon at 7 Eastern, and then Alabama A&M and Auburn. Hugh Freeze, Peyton Thorne headed your way at 7:30 tonight. Auburn team that lost to New Mexico State and Diego Pavia a year ago. You wonder if there's any kind of property that translates between what happened in a game like that and what happens in a game like this. You have confidence winning on the road at Jordan-Hare. Now you come into the SEC. Well, you've kind of been there and done that to a certain extent.
And confidence carries you a lot longer than a lot of other things will. Coming to a game like this 0-0, you don't care about the brand name on the jersey. You care about who the players are behind the helmet.
Hokies want to stop. Still a timeout to work with. Backside pressure, and Pavia is going to be gobbled up. Antoine Powell-Ryland. Well, he got there in a hurry. And the Hokies starting to flex for the first time. A loss of 5. Another timeout.
Timeout. Virginia Tech. Their third and final of the half.
So the benefit right here, look at Antoine Powell-Ryland, APR, not the annualized percentage rate. You're going to see a call it exit game. We call it a text game. Tackle goes up. Excuse me, that's not the tackle. Right here, tackle goes up. APR is going to come underneath, and he's going to blow up the running back, Cedric Alexander. So boom, exit game, or text game, excuse me. Boom, and right there, you run over the freshman, or really a sophomore running back. APR had 9.5 sacks last year, but this game hasn't been able to rush the quarterback because they haven't been able to stop the run. So if you can actually stop the run on defense, it gives you the privilege and the opportunity to rush the quarterback. Without one, you cannot have the other.
Privilege to watch APR get down and dirty, because this is a guy a year ago that impacted the pocket so many different ways. Chris Marv talked about a season ago. We got to the quarterback. Last year was the first year we were able to bring him down, record all those sacks. They were second in the conference in that department. this year they are aiming to take that next step. Tech out of timeouts. 31 seconds remaining. Ollie Jennings, the punt returner. Played in just one game a year ago. Now that he's healthy, perhaps a spark at some point we will see today. Fair catch at the 31 after a punt of 43 yards. So Kyron Drones back on the field. Virginia Tech without a timeout. Be curious to see if Tyler Bowen wants to be conservative or aggressive facing a two-touchdown deficit.
Yeah, oftentimes in situations like these 2-minute situations, you want to try a screen first, a play to get a couple little positive yardage to see if you can get an offense going. The issue here is that you don't have any timeouts, and so if that screen doesn't get a first down, clock's not going to stop, and now it messes up any kind of momentum you wanted to have. And so I think you're thinking out of bounds or first down on this drive.
Hokies in comeback mode. They've got some work to do. Virginia Tech will receive the second half kickoff. Drones wants to throw it. There comes the pressure, and down he goes. Linus Zunk. And a late penalty marker comes in. Drones was tossed. An enormous personal foul penalty. Clark Lee didn't like any bit of that.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense, number 29, 15-yard penalty. First down.
It's Miles Capers. So the second personal foul on the Commodores defense today.
Yeah, I don't love the penalty, but I love that.
The game clock is 17 seconds. 17 seconds, please.
I love the pass rush by Linus Zunk. He's from Berlin, Germany, 6'6", 263. That was an inside-out chop move, and so you get the tackle to set their feet and get that sack. He may go back to that. Not a great penalty, of course, by Capers. I still don't let the guys play is what I feel, but, I'm coming from a different perspective.
You're coming from a linebacker's perspective. Tech would love to take advantage. Penalty marker again, and that pass sails out of bounds. The physicality of Vanderbilt and what we've seen so far. That flag in the area of holding once again. That may be the most surprising component of these first 30 minutes. Vanderbilt, its strength at the line of scrimmage, perhaps unexpected.
Holding. Offense, number 65. 10-yard penalty. First down.
So the third holding call against the Hokies.
And the second on Chaplin. So here's my issue when I think of Virginia Tech offensively. Okay, your left tackle, 2 holding penalties. Your right tackle just got beat for a sack, though there was a penalty, so it didn't end up counting. If you're not able to run the ball, that's a problem, but at least you can pass it. But if you're not able to pass protect, that's another problem. We're seeing a little bit of unexpected shift, at least when it comes to the line of scrimmage, in favor of Vanderbilt.
Less than 10 seconds to go in the first half. Drones is going to be eaten up again by Zunk. Linus brought the Zunk that time, and a sack gets us to halftime at 17-3. What a performance, an upset in the works in Music City. 14-point lead at halftime for Vanderbilt. As we get you to the studio, Matt Barry, the halftime report. Back Music City, First Bank Stadium. The story so far, the Vanderbilt defense, a 14-point advantage as we get set to begin our second half. And that defense limiting Vatech to less than 20 yards rushing. He's Sam Acho. I'm Roy Philpott. Taylor Davis on the sidelines joins us in just 1 minute. Vanderbilt, the physicality, the strength of the line of scrimmage, the defense, awfully impressive.
The defense has been dominant. It's been so fun to watch. There's a lot of new players and new faces on this team, but they're making big-time plays, especially early.
Yeah, the first half highlights really tell the story. Had the interception, Seabrooks, the freshman, off the deflection. That was a big deal. They clogged the line of scrimmage in a very real way.
And that was Seabrooks clogging the line early. Seabrooks with the interception. And then you see Randon Fontenette transfer from TCU, keeping his leverage. And then 6'6", 263, Linus Zunk from Berlin, Germany. He's only played football for 2 years, but everyone on that defensive line and the secondary are making plays.
Yeah, you take a look at Zunk, and that frame certainly gives you a lot to think about. 6'7", 265-pounder. Hokies get it to start our third quarter. Bashal Tootin bottled up, driven backwards at the 16, and we check in with Taylor Davis.
With Coach Fry at the defense is challenging them. He said, we knew Coach Lee would mix it up a little bit, but truthfully, they're giving us looks that we didn't expect, and we're not adjusting well. He said that was the first order of business in the locker room at halftime. He also told them we have to do better with 3rd and longs. They should not be converting those, making it harder on ourselves. He said they're chewing the yards, passing when they want to. He said, truthfully, this isn't the team I see at practice. I want to see those guys this half.
And I think a challenge issued in that locker room to come out and prove it and show it, the expectations. At Blacksburg, we led the show off with that. Extremely high, so much returning production. I mean, on offense, Patterson makes the tackle there after a 3-yard gain. You got 95% of what you did last year returning this year. So the time is now for this thing to get kicked into high gear.
And just because you're returning production doesn't mean you're returning talent. I'm not saying that Virginia Tech isn't talented. What I am saying is that they have to wake up. At halftime, what you tell them is it's 0-0. We just played our worst half of football. We're down by 2 scores. We score now, it's a game. That's what you have to do in this first series.
Yeah, contrasting styles with these programs. Vanderbilt, 53 new players on the roster. Virginia Tech, everybody returns. And Tootin on the swing pass, crossing the 20. Dante Carter, the tackle, a gain of 1, and don't look now, but it's 3rd down.
3rd down, but I like the fact that Bashal Tootin went over to empty, but I want them to start it empty, expose the defense earlier, so you don't have to worry about Kyron Drones and worry about, okay, am I going to get pressure, am I not? I know what I'm about to get. So 3rd and long, we talked about the 4 minutes and the 2 on the back of the first half, 2 at the beginning of the second half. Could be a big swing for Vandy if they can get a stop.
Jalen Lane lines up in the slot after motioning over on 3rd down. Drones across the middle, and the grab made by Lane, tumbling his way to the 47. 26 yards on 3rd and 7.
First of all, great protection up front. All you needed was that extra second. Jalen Lane with the hands catch, not the best pass, but that's what elite level receivers do. You make your quarterback look good. That's what Jalen Lane did. He did it in the first half. Now he's getting it in the second.
He had to retreat, slow down, and reach backwards to haul in that pass to Ricky Wright, the injured Commodore, in Vanderbilt territory near the 41. Slow to his feet as we step aside in Nashville. Welcome back to First Bank Stadium. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. A capacity crowd on hand so far. You have to love what you have seen if you're a fan. The Vanderbilt Commodores, their first non-conference sellout here since 2017. North end zone has been renovated. The basketball facility constructed and in the process of being completed towards our left. More renovations underway here in Nashville. Extending into the rest of this season. Back now to live action. Drones had a man wide open. Allie Jennings, his first catch, now healthy. And numeral 0 in front of C.J. Taylor. Play action working to perfection for the Hokies again at 29.
Yeah, and you saw Randon Fontenette on the left side of your screen. So you see him dropping a little bit. You see the running back. The running back there. We want to play it deep to short. So you want to be a little bit deeper to try and have that pass not be caught, and then you can rally to your running back.
Acho Hokies throwing the ball down the field to start this 3rd quarter. Drones again. There's the seam in the pass. Incomplete. Benji Gosnell had a pat to the end zone. That was the fastball from Drones. And it's incomplete.
Yeah, well, it's got to be a fastball from Jones. That's a tight window throw. You see the arms up and arms out. So that ball's got to be caught by Gosnell. Yes, I get it. It was a fastball, 96 miles an hour. I love it. But still, those are plays you got to make for your QB. It was a perfectly placed ball, fit in a tight window.
I like talking about fastballs in Nashville. The Vandy boys. Here's Tootin. Stutter step. Tootin towards the end zone for the touchdown. And the lid finally off the Virginia Tech offense. 33 reaching pay dirt from 24 yards out.
this series was all started by that third down Jalen Lane catch. That was the first ball that we saw go down the field for this offense. Jalen Lane makes the play, playmaker. Bayshaw Tootin give him the ball, playmaker. Get the ball out quickly to the guys who can make plays, especially the hot hands. All of a sudden, you have yourself a game.
Blacksburg, VA, about 400 miles to the north and to the east. Our location here in Music City, but all of a sudden, Lane Stadium appears along that far sideline. And it's getting loud for the team from the ACC.
Bayshaw Tootin with that one cut. Great blocking downfield. Braylon Moore, love it.
Back in Nashville, it didn't take long for Virginia Tech and Bayshaw Tootin to get the ball rolling to begin our second half, and the rush yards were there. Play action was there. Acho felt like a punchless first half led to some excitement finally and production in the second.
And this is what you would have hoped to see to start the game. Give the ball to Bayshaw Tootin early. Right in the first half, he only had 2 or 3 touches max. Give it to him early. Get Ali Jennings involved. Get Jalen Lane involved, and that's how you start a half.
54 touchbacks a season ago for Kyle Lowe. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis, another touchback here. Vanderbilt jumping out to that 2-touchdown lead at the break, and Diego Pavia awfully impressive in his first start.
And it started with Quincy Skinner on the outside. No press, no chance. And then it went to Cedric Alexander on the inside, running and bumbling and bursting through tacklers. But all that happens solely because the offensive line is giving Diego Pavia time to get the ball out of his hands, and also giving Alexander time to run it.
The pistol formation, something we've seen extensively so far for this team. Non-existent in the playbook a year ago. Totally revamped. Off the slant, the deflection, and was it intercepted? Let's see. It was not. Boy, for a moment, Delane jumped as high as he could. The ball was caroming around, twisting and turning.
So you're going to see Josh Fuga with the tip, hands up, gets that tip, and then what happens is it should be an interception. I mean, you got to catch that one. But here's the momentum piece you talk about. At halftime, guys, it's 0-0. Forget about the score. Let's play Hokie football. And all of a sudden, you start feeling that pressure if you're Vandy.
Hokie fans on their feet, sensing momentum. Here's Pavia to the edge. Pavia still on his feet into Virginia Tech territory. 27 yards on the option keeper.
So Chris Kalakis calls this the 3-man game. You could option, you could pitch it, you could keep it. And you see Cole Nelson gets out-leveraged by Pavia. Pavia has speed. Pavia is a competitor. Nelson's got to be on the edge. You're a quarterback player. You cannot let the quarterback out-athlete you. But that's that 3-man game, he calls it. You could either give it, you could keep it, or you can pitch it. Essentially an option.
142 yards of total offense for Vanderbilt's starting quarterback. His first game as a starter in the SEC. A.J. Newberry upended. How about the form tackle for the Hokies, Keontae Jenkins, and a 2-yard gain.
Keontae Jenkins, 6'3", 219 from Jacksonville, Florida. He's a great athlete for this team, but what has to happen, in my opinion, 16 and 6 on the inside. Fuga on the inside, and Aeneas Peebles have to get penetration to keep this running game from being effective. So get penetration, make Pavia keep it, and then the edge players have to be able to keep their leverage on Pavia.
Hokies have some big hitters at linebacker. We haven't heard a ton from Keller Lawson or Brumfield, the transfer. Ball comes out. Pavia picks it up. He'll make something out of nothing. Sent out of bounds here, the 46. Delane kept that game to a minimum. Stopped at the line.
So penetration inside. You see Fuga, you see Peebles. Just watch what they do. Watch how penetration can affect plays. You see that? Doesn't look big, but it's enough. That push, you're not getting pushed backwards. You're maintaining or getting in their backfield, causes confusion for offenses.
Did give him a couple on that play. 3rd down and 8. A big moment the second half of this game. Hokies need it back. All afternoon for Pavia. Now he takes off. And a first down. The head first dive.
So APR right here, he's spying, spy. Out-athleted, that's all that is. That's a simple, I mean, it's like, hey, I think I'm a better athlete than you. That's what Diego Pavia just said, and he proved it. So here's the great thing. That's 3rd down. APR is going to get another opportunity to prove it. It's not easy when you don't know what this quarterback does in space. So boom, you're going to get another third down opportunity. You got to take advantage of it next time when you're spying the quarterback, because that's what he was. He was a quarterback spy.
3 years ago, he was playing for New Mexico Military Institute. Helped that team to a junior college national championship. 2 seasons at New Mexico State, now in the SEC. Alexander picks up a couple. And the book is being written in an incredible way for number 2 for Vanderbilt, a former Conference USA Offensive Player of the Year in Las Cruces a season ago.
I go back to, Roy, the time of possession, and I'm interested, how much time is going to be on the clock when Vanderbilt snaps it? Will they stick to that 3-4 second and keep the ball?
5 on the play clock that time. Pavia retreats and retreats some more and is finally sacked behind the 40. Burgos got there, and Keyshawn Burgos, a loss of 11.
You're going to see Keyshawn Burgos on the middle. And so all you have to do is push and press and get off of blocks. That's called getting skinny. If you stay square, you won't be able to get through. But once you press, you turn your hips sideways, turn your shoulders sideways, get skinny, and have relentless effort.
Chris Marv told us yesterday, number 2 in maroon and white, the best motor on this team. We saw it there. Out of field goal range, it's 3rd and 17. Commodore's got to snap it. Delayed handoff, Alexander, and I don't think so. Ahead to the 36. It would be about a 52-yard field goal attempt, and we were told the magic line is around the 33 for Vanderbilt today. It's 4th and long, and let's see. Brock Taylor on the field. And they're going to try a long field goal. A 54-yard attempt from the right hash. One on the play clock. And that play will not count. The flag was tossed unless they got the timeout in first.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty.
Acho, that's just the decision being made too late to kick the field goal.
But it may end up working in Vanderbilt's favor, because yes, I know it was it didn't count, but he missed it. If you miss that field goal, all of a sudden Virginia Tech gets the ball at the 40 or so yard line. So now instead you punt it, you play the field position game, and you rely on your defense. That's a huge win for Virginia Tech. Costly penalty in some ways for Vandy, but I mean, he said he was comfortable from 50. That's what the coach said. That's what Clark Lee said. That would have been 54.
It's Jesse Mirko, the transfer from Ohio State. Aussie punter, that's been a recipe for success here in Nashville the last couple of years. Mirko try to sky it as high as he can. 2 penalty markers come in. That is 7 yards deep into the end zone. Now the sack by Burgos, the high motor defensive player for Chris Marv and Brent Pry. The difference on that last drive. Early sign this penalty goes against Virginia Tech, and you wonder, could that put Vanderbilt back in field goal range?
Illegal numbering. 2 number zeros on defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot Replay, 4th down.
And so here comes Brock back on the field.
All right, here we go. So obviously Clark Lee trusts his kicker. Initially he had said, I'm comfortable from the 30, but if the situation allows for it, I will extend it a little bit. This seems as if it's a situation where the situation allows for Brock Taylor to do his thing. He got the mulligan. Let's see how he does on this one.
Brock Taylor, the sophomore from Knoxville. The ball's going to be spotted at the 43 with the snap, so it's going to be about a yard closer somehow. And a second chance for Taylor on the way. Plenty of distance. And guess what? He nailed it. The fist pump from Clark Lee. And a 2-score advantage once again for Vanderbilt.
Big, bold, courageous move by Brock Taylor to have the confidence to make that kick when it matters.
From way downtown, and it's 20-10. We welcome you back to Modelo kickoff week. What a game so far in Nashville, Tennessee. First Bank Stadium, 20-10. After Brock Taylor's 53-yard field goal just moments ago, Hokie set to get the football back. Taylor Davis on the sideline, Sam Acho, Roy Philpott. Great weather so far, and from 3 yards deep, Prelo will bring it out. Lasso down short of the 24. What a scene this has been so far, and I tell you what, we've seen some crazy plays, including that last field goal sequence. Sam, let's go out your mind with what we just witnessed here at First Bank Stadium.
Well, I'm asking Virginia Tech, are you out your mind? You have this penalty because you have 2 number 0s on the field. That's Kelly Lawson, a linebacker. He's on safe. And then that's Ollie Jennings, the punt returner. Now, here's the issue. They both were number 0. Tucker Holloway is the usual punt returner, but because he's not available for this game, special teams coaches got to know you cannot have the same number. That costs you 3 points. If you lose this game by 3, you will officially be out your mind.
Time for the longest Vanderbilt field goal in 11 years, and just 2 yards short of the school record by Taylor as Tootin goes over the right side towards the 28. Fontenette the tackle. And I mean, plenty of distance, sneaks it just inside the upright. And for a sophomore kicker known for his leg strength and a chance at redemption after the line drive missed just moments earlier. And they also moved up that kick by about a yard. So the snapper holder combo, they adjusted that. And it worked out. Toss sweep Tootin. Corralled quickly near the 30. 3rd down for Virginia Tech. Now Longwell, Zaylen Wood. This Vanderbilt defense up to the challenge for the most part today. And a Commodore remains down on the field near the 32. We'll keep it right here, and for Kyron Drones, he caught fire on that last Hokies possession. Martell Height, injured cornerback, remains down and now will be helped to his feet. Well, Labor Day weekend, a great destination here in Nashville, but across the ESPN networks, ABC. How about Miami and Florida? Rivalry renewed at the Swamp, 3:30 Eastern. That's on ABC later tonight in primetime. Notre Dame, Texas A&M, a top 20 showdown. Fighting Irish playing in the SEC on the road. You don't see that often. Then SC and LSU tomorrow night. A Sunday night college football matchup in Vegas, 7:30 Eastern on ABC. And then don't forget Monday night, Labor Day night. Florida State, Boston College. 5 straight days of football to kickstart week 1, including this Saturday. Drones the pump fake. Pocket collapses. Drones escapes for a moment. Triple teamed and driven down quickly. Short of the line to gain. Nick Rinaldi met him first. It'll be 4th down for Virginia Tech.
That was great awareness by Vanderbilt on the defense side of the ball. Started in empty, you motioned back, but you saw the running back, Tootin, was actually a little bit wide. He was spread outside of the tackle, So Vandy knew, okay, he's free releasing, so I know exactly what route I'm going to get, at least the concept from the running back.
Richie Hoskins back deep to receive this punt from Peter Moore. His 4th time wearing the number 25 jersey. Senior from Davidsonville, Maryland. And a fair catch made at the 21. Punt of 46 yards. Commodores take over there as we take a look at today's road test, brought to you by Goodyear. And for the Hokies, their eyes on the prize in the ACC. Of course, the winner of the conference gets the automatic bid into the new 12-team college football playoff. That road trip down to Coral Gables against top 20 Miami resurgent Hurricanes with Cam Ward at quarterback, one to watch.
That's definitely one to watch. And the great thing about the 12-team playoff is that even if you don't win your conference, you still have a chance to get in. But the issue is losses like this won't look pretty, especially if Miami ends up being the Miami that we hope with Cam Ward, the transfer from Washington State.
Hey, Acho, maybe a bigger road test today with what we've seen thus far. Approaching 5 to play in the 3rd. Pavia lost the handoff in the exchange. And the 2nd time we've seen the ball on the turf today for the Commodores. It's a loss of 3, and Pavia in the right place at the right time.
So O-line coach Chris Klinakis talks about how on this zone read play, you got to jump out of the way. Pavia has to literally jump out of the way. He's a little bit lazy with getting out of the way so the running back can go straight downhill. And so when you start getting lazy, mistakes get made. Don't love I need more urgency from Pavia.
10-point advantage. Helped put New Mexico State on the map. His final year of eligibility this season. And the direct snap. It'll be 3rd down and long. Eli Stowers coming in, a former quarterback turned tight end. Originally signed with Texas A&M, then moved over to New Mexico State. And his debut today, originally from Denton, Texas, a former elite signal caller in high school. 3rd and long. Hacho, that clock continues to tick and tick and tick away. Vanderbilt finds a way to eat up time.
Yep, and this is what Brent Pry talked about. 3rd down, got to get off the field. 3rd and 13. I don't expect pressure. I expect 4-man rush.
Play clock down to 1. Pavia gets it cleanly. Wide open. Stowers dropped it. 2 penalty markers come in late as well, and that was just past his outstretched hands, turning the other way.
Hold it. Offense, number 64. The penalties decline. 4th down.
Wacho, Hokies get the stop. Castillo called for the hold. They'll decline that penalty. It's 4th down. Riley Jennings back deep to receive. Just the 2nd punt of this game for Vanderbilt. Mirko was the starter for the Buckeyes for those 3 campaigns before electing to leave. Booms this one to Jennings. The fair catch called for and made at the 31. We check in again with Matt Berry.
All right, gentlemen, time now for your AT&T Multiview, keeping you connected. What's going on in the early window? Georgia just punched it in to extend their lead over on ABC 20-3. Louisville, that speaks for itself. Pitt, Kent State hanging in there. But Sam Acho, congratulations. Your first Saturday in the booth. You have drawn the best game of the early window. And Coach Bowen's being sensitive. He haven't dropped his name yet. That's your AT&T Multiview, keeping you connected.
Absolutely love it, gentlemen. It's great to have you on board, and perhaps you brought a little magic dust here to have this game be as entertaining as it's been.
Well, shout out to Dan Mullen, but can I drop a Trey Burton? That's the guy you coach, Dan Mullen. He's a tight end quarterback, a little bit of Stowers in him.
It's Tootin along the right side. Zunk was there, no gain. Linus Zunk remains down on the field. Trainers will come out and have a look.
For an injured defensive player.
And after a moment, he's back down, and the way they stretch the leg, you wonder if the humidity, the temperature, cramps could become a factor at some point.
Yeah, it's with the heat. One thing about the heat, and one thing I noticed is Virginia Tech came out early for warm-ups. They were outside a good bit. I didn't see the Vandy team out as much. To me, it says they knew how hot it was going to be. They tried to prepare for this. We heard Clark Lee say that he tried to keep his team inside the last few days. But this comes to if it is cramps, hydration, Pedialyte, all those things that you need to drink to stay ready for this amount of plays.
We invite you to head over to ESPN Plus, SEC Network Plus. Later today, Mississippi State and Starkville hosting Eastern Kentucky. That's at 6 Eastern. Furman at number 6 Ole Miss. 7 o'clock Eastern, ESPN Plus, Alabama A&M and Auburn at Jordan-Hare, 7:30 tonight as well. Download the ESPN app. Go to espnplus.com/schedule to watch. Second down for Kyron Drones. Lightning in a bottle in the first possession of this second half. Only 10 points on the board for this Hokies offense in week 1 so far. Immediate pressure. Tight end has it. Gosnell gallops ahead for a first down to the 47. Pressure by Patterson, and he got there just a second too late with a penalty marker coming in.
Personal foul. Broken the pass. Number 10. Defense. 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Patterson, the third personal foul penalty called against his Vanderbilt defense.
Well, led the team in tackles, led the team in TFLs last year as well. It seems as if they're saying that he's running his feet, but he got there right when the ball was thrown.
It wasn't high, it wasn't targeting, it was nothing along those lines.
Yeah. There's been a few calls with this Vanderbilt defense that you wonder if it's a little passionate aggression. I get that, but that's football.
Well, the gain of 17 through the air, 15 with the penalty. That's plus 32. And in terms of penalty yardage, now at 60 for this game for the Commodores. They averaged just 42 per contest last year. Momentum suddenly for the Hokies. Drones wants to take a shot, and he will. Gosnell, the tight end again. Time for Drones, and he makes the Commodores defense pay for 26.
Yeah, bad eyes by number 4, Brian Longwell. Number 1, you know there's got to be some kind of you have to look outside, see that the wide receiver is tight. There may be some traffic, so you have to go over your defensive back, not run into him, in order to keep that wheel route from happening. So great throw by Drones. Great route by Gosnell, but bad eyes by Brian Longwell. You have to have pre-snap awareness on the potential traffic issues on your outside.
Yeah, time for Drones. He becomes an entirely different player. This is an entirely different offensive attack. Strike to Tootin. Back to the line, and that's it. So now quickly. Under 2 to go in our third quarter. Virginia Tech has not led in this game. Vanderbilt 17-3 lead at the half. And the Hokies knocking on the door again. It was a slow start last year in Blacksburg, 1-3. Before a flurry at the end, a bold victory against Tulane. Military Bowl. Drones went off into traffic, and the pass incomplete, looking for Stephen Gosnell. Not sure who wanted that reception that time, Acho.
Yeah, so lack of really just timing, right? So Gosnell is trying to get there, but Harrison St. Germain, he has to be more aggressive. So you know that even if the defender is being patient, get out of the way. Go attack him so you're not in the way of that pass.
Third down. Hokies can't pick up a first inside the 3. Play clock down to 0.
Timeout. Virginia Tech. Their first of the half. 30-second timeout.
1:25 remaining in the third. No penalty. That's a Big deal there on 3rd and 10. And for Brent Pry, Tyler Bowen back to the drawing board, trying to figure out a way to get this ball across the goal line.
Well, they've targeted the tight end a lot this series, but also remember earlier when Gosnell dropped that pass, they've targeted the tight end in the red zone. And so I expect maybe them going back to that pass that Gosnell dropped. Just essentially, simulates a pop pass, just quick tight end right up the middle. It worked in the past. I think they're going to go back to it.
Haven't seen as much of Jalen Lane and Daquan Felton on this drive, but Gosnell's been an able receiver. The one thing Kyron Drones said about his tight end, you put the ball anywhere in his vicinity, he will catch it. And their relationship on the field has gotten much stronger throughout preseason camp in Blacksburg.
Yeah, they talk about how much stronger Benji Gosnell has gotten as well. He's put on a few pounds, now up to 258. So he's better in the run blocking game, which makes him somewhat of a dual threat tight end as well. Not just a receiver, he can catch it.
Hokies without Nick Gallo today. Right knee injury. Drones trying to buy some time, and no. Sidnor got there, collapsed the pocket, a loss of 8. Virginia Tech going the wrong way, away from the Vanderbilt end zone.
Yeah, Corday Sidnor, you're going to see him right here at the top of your screen. Just keep your eyes on him, and then watch his pass rush. So you're going to see a lot of effort right here. He comes up, chop, spin, and then he doesn't win initially, but that's what we call effort. You work on drills like this in practice. Okay, you win on your pass rush, but the quarterback moves. You have to have extra effort as a defensive lineman to get a sack. So positive on the win, positive on the spin, positive on the efforts.
Clark Lee told us yesterday he is our best pass rusher. We saw that on display. Love from 38, right in the middle of the field, and it's back to a one-score affair. John Love, Mr. Automatic a year ago, a great start in 2024. Oh, that advantage trimmed to 7 here near the end of the 3rd quarter. You think about success in Nashville. Brent Pry, the current Hokies head coach, was a big part of that. Going back to his tenure under James Franklin, the wins, well, they came in droves against Auburn, Florida, Tennessee. The bowl win and the Music City Bowl in Memphis against NC State. Still talking about that one. They weren't done yet that following season. Dogs came to town. They exited with a loss. Seems crazy to think about that these days, but Vanderbilt, those 2 years in particular, James Franklin, his final 2 campaigns, they had it cooking.
They did, and it really started with their defense as well. That's why I think about Chris Marr, if he was on those teams. 4-time All-SEC linebacker, defensive coordinator for Brent Pry and Virginia Tech. So if you're going to win this game, what is it going to lead with? Your defensive head coach. It's got to be defense. The ball has been on the ground 2 or 3 times, and Pavia has been able to recover it, or at least Vandy has been able to recover it. If that ball gets on the ground again, the way you win is by scooping and scoring.
Now you still get a sense of calm on that Virginia Tech sideline. Very confident coaching staff in our meetings with them this week. And they knew that they were going to face some adversity here at some point in time. The question is, how would they respond? And we're about to find out. A 1-possession game at the end of the 3rd quarter. All right, the mentality of your Vanderbilt. Diego Pavia, another chance. Yet to see him work the ball to his big tight end so far today. That's something maybe to consider, but they've got the lead. They've got Tech exactly where they want them, right?
They do, and the mentality for me has to be go back to what you were doing in the 1st quarter, which is continue to play that time of possession game. There was a snap last series where they snapped it with 17 seconds. I'm not saying be afraid. I'm saying stick with your game plan. Get the play call from the audio, let the play clock run, and then bleed some clock.
Nate Johnson in at quarterback for the first time. The transfer from Utah. Alexander sent backwards. Panay got there for the TFL, the freshman defensive tackle. So we thought we would see Nate Johnson at some point. Tim Beck called him one of the fastest players in college football. He's got a different gear. But 1 play and nothing doing as Pavia checks back in. Commodores don't have to snap it here at the end of the quarter. You called it, Acho. Vanderbilt football when we come back 15 minutes away from a potential upset.
2013 lead. Brent Pry joins me now. Coach, a one-score game in the fourth quarter. What flips the script for your team here?
Yeah, we got to convert those field goals to touchdowns. You know, we've had a situation right there, where we don't get it blocked up. We have a miscommunication. We got to convert touchdowns in the red zone.
Thanks for your time.
Taylor, thank you. The start of our fourth quarter, Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis. Hokies trail by a touchdown. Pavia on the field, and the out pattern is there to junior Sherrill. He'll haul it in, crossing the 30. And just short of the line to gain. Hokies have not won a game trailing by a touchdown or more entering the fourth quarter in 8 years. You got to go back to Notre Dame in 2016. Brent Pry would love to change that mojo right now. Pavia just recorded his first completion of the second half. Commodores need 2 yards to keep this drive alive. Alexander. Boy, there was contact in the backfield that looked awkward with a snap. Caleb Woodson met him at the line of scrimmage. Hokies force a punt.
Big time stop by that defensive front. It wasn't just the defensive line. We saw linebackers as well getting penetration. What does defensive coordinator Chris Marv say? He said, let's bring pressure. We know what they're going to try and do. They're going to run this pistol, run inside zone. Let's bring pressure and force them to beat us. And that's what we're seeing. We saw linebacker pressure in the middle.
Ollie Jennings drifting back deep to receive this punt from Jesse Mirko. And the crowd from Lane Stadium that made their trek down to Nashville for this Labor Day weekend. A great destination stop, of course. Not ready to leave with an L in hand. They're starting to make some noise. Here's Jennings. Made one man miss. Now two. Waiting for the convoy. Solid return for the 23. After a punt of 58, we check in again with Taylor Davis.
Well, guys, spending some time down here on the Virginia Tech sideline, there's definitely been an element of frustration here in this week 1 game, but it's been fueling them more in the second half. Keep in mind, with all of these returners, they've tied back to their experience last season, starting out just 1-3, making everything an uphill climb. They've talked about starting fast and proving something early, and they know that starts with how they finish here today.
Trying to finish strong. Only a touchdown deficit. It was a 2-score game at halftime. Play action for Drones. Shovels it ahead to his tight end, Gosnell. Boy, he's tough to bring down, Acho.
Yeah, and a missed tackle by DeRicky Wright, but Benji Gosnell, is starting to show up even more on this offense. That's what they didn't have the first half. You see it, okay, you can read it. Boom, you see Gosnell come back across. He's maybe the second or third option. Just pitch it to him and let him try and spark some momentum. Tight ends can create mismatches. That's what we're seeing right now. They're targeting Benji Gosnell.
Second and short. There goes Lane. Drones. Confident strike and incomplete. Aiden Green should have brought that one in. He did not. Third down.
Nice ball by Kyron Drones. We've seen this a couple times. Them throwing it back across the field. And you see Green just take his eyes off the ball. He doesn't catch it first. He gets ready to look upfield to see where he's going to run, who's going to make miss. And that's why he drops it. He just simply takes his eyes off the ball before he looks it into his hands.
He was looking at the green right in front of him, if you will. Third down. Drones keeps it. Drive continues. Kyron Drones. Gain of 12. Langston Patterson tried to drag him down and had trouble doing so. Well, you mentioned it. I called it when he fired that last pass to Green. It was incomplete, but it felt like the rhythm and stepping into the pocket kind of got him engaged. And then that next run with a first down, you can feel momentum starting to switch hands. Drones again with play action. wants it all, heaves one deep, penalty marker flies, and the pass reeled in at the 10. Stephen Gosnell that time on Fontenette, and a gain of 44.
5 to the pass. Over. Defense. Number 2. The penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
So right here you see Stephen Gosnell, and all you're going to see is the quarterback's going to have time. That's what we see. This route takes time. So you saw them move the pocket. You see Brandon Fontenette hold when Gosnell was going across the field. The few plays that we've seen Virginia Tech be successful in, they've moved the pocket a little bit in order to create more time and space, because they believe that their receivers and tight ends are more athletic than the defense. So that extra time by pocket movement is proving effective for this offense.
Acho, that play the longest for either team. Drones calling his own number. Not that time. Capers able to get there in plenty of time, a loss of 5.
Yeah, big time play by Capers. Notice he's lined up on the tight end, so you think he's going to be there, but instead he says, hey, I'm a quarterback player. So he's taught, I don't care if it's a zone read, I don't care what the play is. You're running downfield, down the line, and you go get the quarterback. So great play by the defense by Capers.
Been injured in preseason camp, now healthy. Clark Lee telling us he's got to be a factor today. He was in that sequence. Here comes Drones. Get some of that yardage back. 3rd down and goal, approaching 10 to play in Nashville. Hokies trailing by a touchdown.
Talk about the whole time of possession conversation, and it's a great conversation. When it meets reality is this: when you get a chance to rest, you have more energy. But this defense for Vandy has been on the field a little bit longer this series, and so that's when mental mistakes can happen. That's when your conditioning is tested, not just in the classroom, in the film room, but on the actual field. Critical 3rd down for Virginia Tech.
When will Clark Lee dial up? Hokies need to convert in the red zone. They'll set up the screen. There it is. And the Hokies with a touchdown. Bayshul Tootin, his 2nd score of the 2nd half, and an extra point away from being tied.
Brandon Fontenette, number 2. You know there's pressure. Your eyes are in the wrong place. His eyes are in the backfield. When that running back crosses your face, you have to take him. And so what we're seeing here is that momentum shift, that time of possession, that confidence, and you're going to halftime saying, hey, it's 0-0, let's play like it. And now it actually is. If this field goal is made, tie game. Extra point is made, tie game.
John Love perfect a season ago. All 44 attempts. And what a weapon for Virginia Tech special teams in 2024. Tied at 20. 10 to go in Music City. Bayshul Tootin. This guy can do it all. Mr. Versatility. His 2nd score of the half. Well, the first half dominated by Vanderbilt, the home team. The 2nd half so far, it's been all Virginia Tech. Tied at 20, 10-12 remaining, and Kyron Drones set for takeoff. A hug and some encouragement from team chaplain Dave Giddings Jr. And you got to feel, and we can sense it up here, a new quarterback, a new offense, and a new vibe for the Hokies sideline.
And that's the stuff that people don't see on the sideline. When a team is up or a team is down, who are the people encouraging you? Dave Giddings is getting in his quarterback's ear saying, hey, you've been through adversity before, you'll be through it again, but let's lead and be elite through this adversity. Shout out Dave Giddings.
Matt Barry, what do you got?
Gentlemen, I have game, set, Bulldogs in Atlanta. Carson Beck, 40 yards. London Humphreys, same as it ever was. Georgia rolling in the 4th quarter, 27-3.
24-point lead at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, and here in Nashville we are tied with the game of the day in this early window. ACC, SEC. Virginia Tech picked as one of the sleepers to reach the 12-team college football playoff. Hokies have been challenged so far, a gain of 1. Pavia back on the field. Mose Phillips, the Nashville native, with a tackle, along with Sam Brumfield.
Great eyes by Mose Phillips. He was in the middle of the field. Really, he was leaned over to one side, but as soon as he saw the running back go from pistol to the left side, at least the defense's left, he triggered. He went right then, and he made the tackle.
Phillips' father, athletic director, coach, teacher at Cambridge High School. Well, he's got to be awfully proud to see his son back in Music City today. Play action. Pavia floats one, and it's caught by Stowers. Eli Stowers into Virginia Tech territory. Their first connection of the afternoon. We saw it a bunch a year ago at New Mexico State. Give him 41.
And you're going to see him come from this side all the way on the other side. And what happens is right here, look at where his eyes are at. Okay, you're motioning, coming across from the other side. Stowers does. Eyes are in the backfield. That's all that happens. Eyes in the backfield.
Pavia, the keeper, to the 29. As Vanderbilt utilizes tempo for the first time in this game, they'll pick up 4.
And that's a great use of tempo. But what you do when you bring motions like that is that you challenge defenses. You say, okay, are you going to have eye integrity? People talk about gap integrity all the time, staying in your gap. But eye integrity is another big issue that defenses can struggle with. If you're looking at the quarterback while the person you're supposed to be covering is running by you, it's automatically an issue.
It's all about broadcast integrity up here in the booth. Tied at 20. Hoskins went in motion. Pavia sandwich driven down. A TFL for Josh Fuga.
Great job by Fuga with the penetration. What I'm looking at now, just to get y'all in my mind a little bit, out your mind, is the play clock. The play clock, the play clock. You want to make sure this play clock continues to go down. You're on third down right now, critical third down. You want to get a first down and run some more play clock. But still, you want to keep that Virginia Tech defense on the field more to cause more lack of discipline.
Four-man pressure. Pavia across the middle. Incomplete. Oh, and it was dropped by Skinner. He broken free right in front of Delane. 4th down.
Yeah, sometimes you wonder if when receivers feel people coming near them, okay, are you worried about that hit you're about to take? Or are you worried about catching that ball? Now, Skinner's made some great plays this game. So I'm confident you say, okay, I dropped that one, I'm going to get another opportunity. Big time field goal right now, though, for Brock Taylor.
Brock Taylor connected from 53 in the 3rd quarter. This attempt from 50. Center cut. And a penalty marker comes in. Wait for the word from Stuart Mullins.
Prior to the snap, full start. Offense, number 64, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
From 50 yards to 55. Decision time again for Clark Lee, and for the moment, Taylor remains on the field. Acho, I'm not sure that leg strength is an issue even from this distance, but obviously far from a simplistic kick. That's going to force a punt.
Is it though? Like I think he made a 50-plus yarder not too long ago, a 53-yarder. This is 55. I get the defense game. I would have loved to see him, based off of the kick we just saw, love to see Brock Taylor get an opportunity.
Would have tied a school record. Instead, here comes Jesse Mirko with Lane standing at his own 8-yard line. And try the lob wedge. And brought in beautifully. Advantage Vanderbilt on special teams. After a punt of 34, the anchor goes down at the 3. We're tied at 20. Halfway home in the 4th. Beautiful look at downtown Nashville. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Sunsplash Saturday afternoon, week 1 of college football. It has delivered so far at First Bank Stadium, tied at 20. Virginia Tech and Vanderbilt. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis, as we take a look at today's Player Spotlight, brought to you by Downey Unstoppables. That last drive, Drones, well, he's been impressive at times today, but in particular, the comeback on the road, electric.
He's been outstanding. You can see the energy that he plays with. There was that one run he had on third down. He was talking smack to the defense. Kyron Drones is a confident human being, a confident quarterback, but this is the drive that solidifies that confidence.
Coney was able to down it inside the 5. Gosnell retrieves it on the first pass. And Tech starting this drive is deep in its own territory as it has all game long. A good start, a gain of 9. Hokies have scored, Acho, on 3 of 4 second half possessions.
They have, and part of it is the reason they're attacking the edges. So right there, Langston Patterson was what we call a quarter flat player, meaning he's got to go to the flat, but at the same time he has a run responsibility on the inside, and so they're putting him in conflict. Are you going to go to the flat, or are you going to look inside? That's how they're getting these runs on the edges.
They'll fake the jet sweep. Drones has the first. We saw a lot of this in that Military Bowl victory against Tulane. You just got to think number 1 in maroon and white just starts to wear you down with that size, athleticism, the experience of knowing what to do and what not to do in this situation.
And notice who's not getting the ball, at least yet. Tootin. What does that mean for me? Hey, what it means when he does, he'll have a little bit more juice, right? Okay, keep the ball in Drone's hands, work on his strength and conditioning, and then you get an opportunity to get it to the guys, the playmakers, in space.
Drones on the run. Pass is caught by Stephen Gosnell. Another Virginia Tech first down, 21 more yards.
You're seeing that pocket move again. He's giving the quarterback more time. So smart play calling now. We're seeing Bowen, offense coordinator Tyler Bowen, say, okay, we're getting pressure. We're not able to protect in the middle. Let's move the pocket, give Drones a little bit more time. They're making them cover all levels in the passing game.
We've heard a lot from this Virginia Tech staff this past week about Drones fitting the football into tighter windows. Second half, suddenly Acho, he's got 5 completions of 20 yards or longer, had just 1 in the first 30 minutes. Well, we invite you to head over to the Swamp on ABC at 3:30 Eastern. Here we'll send you down to Austin, 40 acres there, where Colorado State comes to town to battle Quint Ewers and the Longhorns. And then later tonight, the debut of one Kalen DeBoer against Western Kentucky. How great, by the way, was it to see Nick Saban on game day this morning? Like there's a presence, and he had some interesting words as well. It went viral, so Coach Saban knows how to do that. If you missed it, well, check social media. Drones, not this time. Trio of defenders met him in the backfield. Miles Capers, loss of 2.
We saw some great penetration there by Brian Longwell. Third down is money down, Roy. In practices, you have a third down period. You have a period where it's, hey, fourth quarter, third down, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 5+, 3rd and 12. You got to bring your best pass rushers on the field. Then you have to say, okay, this is when the money is made, right? You want to go to the NFL? Win on third down.
Thomas, the running back. Drones wants to go deep, and the coverage was busted. Ali Jennings. Touchdown, Hokies.
From each player, result of the play is a touchdown.
The first lead of the game for Virginia Tech.
This is the player that Hokies fans have been waiting for. He saw a little hitch by Kyron Drones. That caused the defender to stop. Well, Ali Jennings spent 2 years at Old Dominion before transferring to Virginia Tech last year. While at ODU, he had back-to-back 900-plus yard games. Played really well week 1 last year, 72 yards, 2 touchdowns. Got injured in week 2. Hokie fans have been excited for him to return to this lineup. We talked about playmakers making plays. That's what we mean.
Only 2 grabs, but he's made them count. And you look at his numbers throughout his career. Injured last year, only played in one game. Drones and Jennings have also developed a nice partnership in preseason camp, and we were told his practices have been insane lately, and that's something that has really encouraged offensive play caller Tyler Bowen.
Well, we've heard that he's improved his practice habits. One thing that we heard is like, well, he's a gamer. Well, that was the case in the past, but ever since coming to Virginia Tech, his practice habits have changed. Why does that matter? It matters because now on plays like that, where Kyron Drones can have a little bit of a pump fake, there's more communication and chemistry between quarterback and receiver. And so that builds trust where you don't even have to talk about it, you can just be about it.
Malachi Thomas helped off the field. Here's John Love. The Hokies lead by 7.
Confidence from Kyron Drones, a little bit of a shimmy, and Ali Jennings reminds Hokie fans of who he is. He's him.
On this Labor Day weekend, welcome back to Modelo Kickoff Week. Virginia Tech once trailed in this game in Nashville 17-0. That was the first half. The second half has been completely different. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis. And the comeback not yet complete. There's work to do defensively. And Diego Pavia ready to get back on the field for some more late game magic of his own. Junior Sherrill brings it back, and a good return for the Commodores.
So right here, eyes on Trudell Berry. He's a corner on the outside. You're going to see motion come this way. That creates 4 strong. Well, the problem with 4 strong is that it makes you think that, okay, that pump fake, you think the ball's going to be there, but it's not. So him and also the freshman number 21, Carter, their eyes get caught on that pump fake. So one safety is supposed to be deep to short, and then Berry, the corner, doesn't have to go to attack the pump fake. Play everything deep to short. That's how you lose by really a better play design by the offense.
Trailing for the first time this afternoon. Pavia escapes and brought down at the 31. Diego with just 2 completions in this half, and the Vanderbilt passing game has been missing.
Well, the Virginia Tech pass rush has been found. We saw APR, Antoine Powell-Ryland, with the beautiful spin move, but then Aeneas Peebles as well pushing the pocket. That's called 2 rushing as 1. So even though the spin move wasn't clean, it was pretty enough, and then Peebles didn't allow a B-gap escape. That's right through the tackle and the guard on the offensive side of the ball.
Commodores do have all 3 timeouts to work with. Pavia rolls to his left. That'll be a first down, a little bit more. So the drive begins. Junior Sherrill, the nifty move along the far side, give him 16.
Yeah, Keontae Jackson with with the missed tackle. Great toe tapping by Sherrill. He's on the sideline. Let the defender go by you. Gain a few extra yards. No rush. 3 minutes left. All you need is a score.
Not a great start for the ACC today. Clemson getting blitzed by Georgia in Atlanta. Virginia Tech thought to be an upper echelon team in the same conference. And struggled early with Vanderbilt, but has since rallied. Crosser, there it is, Fungi. And the first grab for Loic Fungi, 19 yards into Virginia Tech territory.
So great job by Fungi, but even better eyes by Pavia. He looks to the left, and the safety starts running left as well, and so you're going to see that huge space. Great eyes by Pavia to create space for the reception.
Tempo again for the Commodores. Pavia, the pump fake, and a nice gain on first down. Tripped up at the 25 by Brumfield.
This is when your conditioning matters. It's the 4th quarter. It's hot. You've been on the field a lot. This is when everything that you do in the offseason, in spring, in fall camp, all of it matters now.
Approaching the 2-minute timeout movement. Here come the flags.
Offside. Defense, number 91, entering the neutral zone and causing a reaction by the offense. That 5-yard penalty results.
Wilfred Penney crossing the line, Sam.
And what was interesting about this is that they rotated 4 new defensive linemen into the game. And so you see Penney right there in the middle, he jumps. Well, you want your main guys out here at this time, but with the heat, you have to do some rotation. So Penney not being out there as much isn't as used to the snap count.
With the penalty comes a first down from the 20. Clock is reset to 2:03. The new 2-minute timeout this year in college football at the end of the first half and in the fourth quarter. Option look for Pavia. Fakes the pitch. There it goes late. Ball pops out. And Vanderbilt, oh so fortunate. A.J. Newberry. It's the kind of plays that Diego Pavia can make happen in a good way and maybe in a not so good way. The 2-minute timeout, 1:56 to go after a gain of 8.
For the final 2 minutes, presented by Allstate.
Yes, indeed. Time for the final 2 minutes presented by Allstate. 1:56 technically remaining. Acho Philpott, Taylor Davis on the sidelines as we went to that last break. They ruled the loss of the football as a backwards pass, so it's spotted where it went out of bounds. That was at the 8-yard line, so it's first down and goal to go. Commodores with 3 timeouts remaining. Virginia Tech with 2. Diego Pavia upset Auburn on the road last year at New Mexico State, trying to pull off the upset this year at Vanderbilt to the front pylon and another touchdown. Cedric Alexander. And Brock Taylor trots on the field for what we think will be the potential game-tying extra point.
Roy, you can't coach that. Like what Diego Pavia is doing, you cannot coach. Like those are frustrating things for a defender. Okay, you think it's going to be, he's going to take it and take it down. Well, he knows Cedric Alexander, that was not a designed pitch. No, I'm going to be a football brilliant savant mind, and I'm going to go know where my safety valve is and pitch it out to him. He did the same thing on the play right before. Diego Pavia is an experience. I'm glad to be a part of it.
Nearly 50 friends and family in attendance today. Grew up in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Further video review.
And any scoring play can be reviewed and will be here.
So the frustrating part about this, not designed by any means, but he pitches it out. To me, it looks as if that Cedric Alexander gets the ball past the pylon, and I like the moves as well. Keep it up. We got cheering. But
it was clearly behind the line of scrimmage, so that's a non-issue.
Yeah, and let's see that right foot looks in bounds, and the ball's on his inside hand, and so it's not undisputable to be able to turn it to the other side. But part of my point is that Pavia, that was not a design play. That was almost like a backyard football play. Meaning, okay, Pavia sees a huge B gap. We talked about it. There's that pylon cam. Huge B gap. I'm going to escape through the B gap, and I'm going to know where my friend is and pitch it out to him. That's extreme level trust from quarterback to running back, and also extreme level trust from quarterback to receiver. Talk about playing free. Talk about having joy. To me, Pavia's been impressive.
Kelly Lawson trying to prevent that touchdown coming right into your kitchen.
After further review, ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Well, Clark Lee given an extra moment to think about whether or not he wants to go for 2. Taylor remains on the field. And Lawson, an early week 1 greeting. I love pylon cam.
Smart play by Alexander, not extending the ball out as well, because oftentimes young players make that mistake. You send the ball out, ball pops out and fumble. Smart play.
His second touchdown of the game. Well, Virginia Tech jumped off sides for a moment. And the all-important PAT up and good, and we are tied. 1:51 to go. And we'll send you back to the studio. Say hello once again to Matt Berry.
All right, Roy, if the afternoon windows is as entertaining as this one, we're in for a good one. Quinn Ewers in Texas coming off a playoff appearance a year ago. Now in the SEC, they've got Colorado State here on ESPN in just under 15 minutes. Then over on ABC, the big one on ABC between Miami and Florida. Cam Ward, now the quarterback for the U. Can he be the magic that leads the Hurricanes to an ACC championship? All of that coming up at 3:30.
Can't wait for it. 2 years ago, Cam Ward's playing football at Incarnate Word. Last year at Washington State. And now at the U, the preseason player of the year in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Big game for the ACC here with Virginia Tech. And a second half that has looked vastly different and much improved from the first, especially on offense.
It has, and Virginia Tech unlocked the code to what Vanderbilt was doing defensively. But now you wonder, as players, you say, I got to go make a play. Well, Clark Lee, the head coach for Vanderbilt, took over defensive play calling duties. And so this is when you have to understand who you are as a coordinator. It looks great in the first half. How are we going to stop them in the second? Because they haven't been able to so far.
Kyron Drones back on the field. 5 for his last 5 through the air, 147 yards and 2 touchdowns. And he experienced a drop right before that from Aiden Green, the most improved player in spring practice in Blacksburg. Now in a tie game, this is where number 1 in white and maroon should excel.
It is in 2-minute situation. Oftentimes offenses will start with a screen play. Now it's 0-0, right? 27-27. You don't have to force or press anything, but you have 2 timeouts. You can run the ball, get first down. The clock will stop after your first down. You have no need to be in a rush right now. So try and get some positive yardage without trying to force anything if you're Kyron Drones.
Capacity crowd at First Bank Stadium. Home opener, the sellout. That pass dangerously in the air for a long time. Ollie Jennings tipped it upwards. The pass falls incomplete. And Longwell covering Jennings that time. 2nd and 10. Acho, we were told in the first half that started turning away Vanderbilt students in the student section. They were piling in droves. A great crowd on hand from Blacksburg. What week 1 should be about. Tootin out of bounds, shoved hard. C.J. Taylor, 3rd and long.
So if you're Vanderbilt, I'll go back to that last play quickly. That's a win. Again, you're making it, you're playing everything deep to short. You're forcing the ball to be behind the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 10, 3rd down, money down, pass rush. Have to get after it. And also the fans, we need some noise.
Hokies need 10 in a tie game. Drones will buy some time. Off his back foot, dangerous toss across the middle and incomplete. Benji Gosnell, the intended target. Stephen Gosnell in the area. DeRicky Wright helped break it up.
Beautiful pass rush on the inside. You saw that spin move by Zaylen Wood, forcing the pressure. Unable to make a completion. That was a catchable ball. Unable to complete it.
Not sure who was throwing to there, but you're right. And Drones remains down on the turf. Well, how about the 3-and-out force by the Vanderbilt defense after 3 straight scoring drives by Virginia Tech? Working on those legs of Kyron Drones. Was not hit. There was no contact. You can see just looking at that right leg for a moment. And now on his feet.
And with that heat, sometimes you look at cramping that can happen. With not that heat, with this heat. And Kyron Drones has had the ball in his hand a lot. Yes, he's the quarterback, but early in the game, he was running the ball. Even this series, he's been moving around a lot. So we talk about that hydration and that heat. This would be a great time if you can get a stop defensively to get your wind back, get your hydration back. Before you do any of that, got to be good on special teams and good on defense.
Peter Moore back on the field. 96 seconds to go. Vanderbilt with all 3 timeouts remaining. Martell Height, the return man. And a beautiful spiraling punt by Moore. Here goes Height to the edge and back inside. Outstanding field position for the Commodores. A punt of 49. Acho a return of 21.
Surprising is the only word I can think about, because I went back and watched the Virginia Tech special teams, and they were a really good special teams unit. Scored 2 touchdowns. They did give up a little bit last year, but this special teams has been surprising, and not in a positive way for Virginia Tech. Vanderbilt has been taking advantage of the opportunity.
Will Johnson, the injured Hokie. And for the Commodores, their second best starting field position of this game from their own 48. Nacho, they've got plenty of time to work with those timeouts. And not to mention Brock Taylor and the leg strength we've seen from him today.
And not to mention as well the practice we went to. So Taylor went to practice on Thursday and watched this team. Roy, you and I went to practice yesterday, and what did we all see? We saw them working on situational football. They had this loudspeaker deal that he was saying, okay, we're in this situation. Let's say it's a tied game and we have no timeouts or 3 timeouts. What are we going to do? Let's say we're losing. What are we going to do? How are we going to work on situations? That's what Clark Lee brings to this team. Mind you, he played at Vanderbilt, so he gets it. But this is what we saw this team work on, situational football.
Johnson requiring some extra attention. Redshirt junior from Maryland. And a reminder, Labor Day weekend continues. ESPN, ABC, our college football lineup. Coming up next, Miami and Florida from the Swamp. First meeting there since 08. Notre Dame, Texas A&M tonight. The top 20 showdown from Kyle Field in College Station. Tomorrow night in primetime, USC LSU live from Vegas at 7:30 Eastern on ABC. Monday night, we'll cap it off. Florida State, Boston College, right here on ESPN at 7:30 Eastern. Bill O'Brien back in college football. Mike Norvell, something to say about what happened in week 0 in Dublin. And Johnson helped to his feet and will be carted off. Played in 13 games a season ago. Backup will linebacker this year. And clearly in pain.
These are the scenes that anyone doesn't love to see. As a former player, hate to see it as well. Praying for Will as he goes to the tunnel.
For Clark Lee, he made the decision this offseason to take over the defensive play calling duties, to bring in an entirely new offensive system from New Mexico State. And this young man, Diego Pavia, engineered the upset a year ago on the plains of Auburn. That was at New Mexico State. First down with time. A stiff arm and brought down at the 46. Kelly Lawson got there, but a gain of 6 yards.
If I'm Vanderbilt, I am keeping the ball in Diego Pavia's hands. Why? Because you don't know what's going to happen. It's whether it's you talk about Doug Flutie, Aaron Rodgers, whatever, guys who just make things happen. That's what he's doing. The patience and the poise that he's showing. He's flashing the ball out, which you could argue is dangerous, but he's doing it for a purpose in order to gain extra yards, get in field position.
Commodores want to get it inside the 33 to give Taylor a shot. Pavia again will fake the toss outside. Pavia with a first down. Commodores in field goal range already.
Talk about eye discipline again. So this one is designed right there. You come up, you fake it. All of a sudden 18 widens out. Pavias is being a little bit dangerous with the ball, but you have to trust yourself, and he's showing a lot of trust. Coaches are as well.
Vanderbilt with 3 timeouts, all 3 remaining. That clock now under 30 seconds. Precious time ticking away. Alexander straight ahead to the 30-yard line. From here, Acho, a 47-yard field goal attempt. Brumfield made the tackle. 15 seconds to go, and here's a timeout.
Talked about the trust that Coach Clark Lee said he has in Brock Taylor.
Vanderbilt, their first of the half. 30 seconds, timeout. Please reset the game clock to 16 seconds. 16, please.
He mentioned that he's confident with him with the ball at the 30-yard line. Right now, the ball's at the 30-yard line. But now the question remains, what more do you need to do? Protect the football, but I'm trusting that offensive line.
Now the brand new offense with Tim Beck calling the plays. Jerry Kill, the associate head coach of offense, the former head man at New Mexico State last year. He's also been instrumental in this turnaround. And these two, they go back several years. It was Coach Kill that took a chance on Diego, brought him to Las Cruces out of the junior college ranks. Lo and behold, just 2 years later, on the verge perhaps of another upset in the SEC, but this time as members of the Southeastern Conference. 1 second added back to the clock. 2nd and 7, Pavia. And it's Alexander. More yards. Grinding his way down to the 25. So from here, about a 42-yard effort. He's already connected from 43 and 53 today. Timeout called, 3 seconds to go, and here we go.
Timeout. Vanderbilt, their second of the half. This is a 30-second timeout.
Acho, what a game. What a comeback for Tech, but Vanderbilt with a chance to make another emphatic statement for the SEC against the Atlantic Coast Conference. We already saw one in Atlanta. Different vibe here. But if Vanderbilt wins it in walk-off fashion, a lot of people will be talking about the 2 leagues and the state of the state, if you will, in both conferences.
Well, I could just see it now. People talk about the SEC and fans, they say, man, the worst team in the SEC, Vanderbilt, which historically you could argue the last several years haven't been great, is now going to beat an ACC favorite. What's going on? But now there's still time. A timeout could be called by Virginia Tech to ice the kicker. Brock Taylor has to be able to be big in this moment. But you could hear the rumblings of those conversations. But even more so, what I'm paying attention to is year 4 with Clark Lee.
Julian Ashby, the long snapper. Jesse Murko, the holder. A 43-yard attempt to win it for the Commodores. And a timeout called by Brent Pry and the Hokies. You talk to kickers at all levels. The majority of those specialists will tell you the timeout gives them extra time to prepare, to go through their routine. A lot of times it's helpful. We've seen Taylor on the field. 2 circumstances. You go back to the missed field goal from 54. There was a penalty. He gets redemption opportunity. He comes back and connects. But for the sophomore from Knoxville Catholic, what a moment this potentially could be for him, for his program. And you mentioned it for Clark Lee.
One thing I love seeing, Roy, and I don't know if we all saw it, but the head tap from head coach to kicker, showing a level of trust.
For the win from 43. Snap is down, kick on the way, Taylor. Oh, and he missed it wide right.
Brock Taylor for the win, wide right. All of a sudden, Virginia Tech has a breath of hope.
The ball didn't come off cleanly. It was rotating quickly. And he pushed it just wide right. New life for Brent Pry and for Virginia Tech. Overtime in Music City. Come back with us.
Play in and play out. Show these boys they don't belong on this field with us. We the big dog in this fight. It's the David Rogers time, baby. It's gonna be some payback gonna be had on the football field.
Touchdown 49ers.
Give me the depths and then watch what I do.
Welcome to Overtime, presented by Cheez-It. It's crunch time.
Yes, indeed it is, as we take a look at overtime rules presented by Cheez-It. Virginia Tech won the toss. Go on defense first. That means they get a chance to see what Vanderbilt can do, to understand what they need to do to either tie or win the contest. Each team gets a possession. The opponent's 25 in the first 2 sessions. After that, you must attempt a 2-point conversion after the TD in the second OT. And then it becomes a 2-point play contest at that juncture. Vanderbilt with the ball first from the Tech 25. What a start, week 1, ACC, SEC, the game of the day in the first window. Pavia with the hot hand. Facing pressure, Stowers falling down backwards, corrals it at the 20. 5-yard gain and a good start for Vandy on offense.
Good start for Vandy. Great block by Cedric Alexander, protecting the edge. He attacked the safety, the blitzing edge player, stoned him, and allowed Pavia a clean look.
Well, regardless of outcome today, Vanderbilt sending a resounding statement to the rest of the SEC that this is a different team in 2024. Virginia Tech returning nearly everybody from last season's bowl victory team against Tulane. They have fought back. Trailed by 17 early. Pavia swiped by one defender. And falls down at the line to gain. Move the sticks. That's a first down. And if you're tuning in, expecting to see Colorado State and Texas from Austin, that contest has started on ESPN News. Get you down to Mike Monaco, Kirk Morrison, and Don Davenport as soon as we are done here. Also available on the ESPN app. Horns thought to be a favorite to reach the new 12-team college football playoff this year. Alexander, the sophomore, in the backfield. 5-man pressure for the Hokies. Pavia. Alexander stays in bounds. A little tiptoe. Shoved out at the 4. First and goal from there.
It's impressive is an understatement. So Cedric Alexander was a true freshman last year, a sophomore this year, playing in the SEC, dominating football. The trust between quarterback and receiver and the confidence for a young player is extremely impressive.
We thought coming into this game, Diego Pavia could be a problem. And he has done it all today. Another pistol look. Pavia, the keeper, to the edge, cuts it back for the touchdown.
So I want to pay attention to Eli Stowers. Smart football. He's going to come around, and he could easily make a block in the back, but he's not. Watch him as he goes around here. So he's going to go around. If you very end, could have been a block in the back, but his hands go back. That penalty could be penalty that he avoided. Are those little tiny things that you go back and watch in the film room and say, thank you for being a smart football player.
All important extra point coming from Brock Taylor. Just missed the potential game winner moments ago from 43 yards out. And Taylor this time extends the lead back to 7 for the Commodores. So now for Virginia Tech, the Hokies know and understand they have to score a touchdown, kick the extra point, tie it. That takes it to a second overtime period, or the chance to go for 2 and win it right there.
Correct. And what you're confident of if you're Virginia Tech is the fact that your offense has been essentially unstoppable in the second half, minus that last series where Kyron Drones had the incompletion. So you're approaching this period with confidence. It's a new game. You have one possession to go and get a score. All the work that you've done in the offseason, all the returning starters, talk about they return, 95% of their offense, 86% of their overall production. You lean on the experiences that you had last year with a slow start, and you implement the gains now.
Kyron Drones on the sideline. Backup quarterback Colin Schlee checks in. The transfer from UCLA. He started his career at Kent State. And what a development here in Nashville. Schlee was done with football, got a call, and decided to head to Blacksburg. He'll keep it here around the left side and a first down. Now, just as we all expected, Schlee racing for 14 yards.
Colin Schlee does know how to win. Let's not forget, he won the MAC when he was at Kent State. And to your point, he wasn't looking to play football, but he's from Maryland. This is close by to home. Got a call, and all of a sudden he said, I will accept the opportunity.
The culture was too good to pass up. And here he is, the 5th-year senior. Oakdale High School. Quick toss to Tootin. Nearly upended. Bashal Tootin inside the 10. Hokies can secure a first down without scoring. That would happen inside the 2, just a 2-yard pickup there.
Tootin's jogging off the field, but Kyron Drones is coming back in now. Man, this dude's tough.
Malachi Thomas, the running back. And here's Drones back on the field. Bullies his way to the 7. Longwell the tackle. Now the toughness of Kyron Drones can't be questioned. We knew that last year. Battle back to reclaim his starting spot. And he's going to have to ask off again. Schlee steps back in. 3rd and 6. Hokies need a touchdown. Play clock at 3. Schlee brought down at the 11. The sack by Zaylen Wood. It'll be 4th down.
Leadership matters as well. Zaylen Wood transferred from Middle Tennessee, where he was a captain for that team.
Timeout for this overtime period. This is a 30-second timeout.
So a timeout called, and both teams a chance to collect their breath. We'll check in with Taylor Davis. TD, what do you have?
Roy, it's been really interesting to me. I covered this Vanderbilt program 4 times last season, and it is night and day different down here on the sideline. We are well into the 90s right now, and this brand new turf, the heat is substantial. But from strength and conditioning perspective, energy, understanding down here on the sideline, what Coach Lee and staff put into place, they're already showing in week 1.
It all comes down to this. 4th and 11.
See Colin Schlee holding his ears. He's got that in-helmet communication. See that green dot on the back of his helmet. So we can hear from offensive coordinator Tyler Bowen. But it's one thing to hear it, another thing to execute it. Colin Schlee has another opportunity to show what he can do in crunch time.
Hokies need either a first down or a touchdown. And without a penalty, this game will be over. And the Commodores utilize a timeout. Schlee's certainly a winner. I'm not sure even he could have anticipated a moment like this. The 12-team playoff era, every loss, of course, significant, but not as dire if you come back and win your conference. The ACC gets an automatic bid, so if you're a fan of the Hokies, I get it. You're disappointed if you can't come back and win this game. A lot of football left to be played afterwards. Meanwhile, for Vanderbilt, clearly a new team, a new offense, and a statement being delivered by Clark Lee today.
A new era, if you will. And part of the reason I say era is that Clark Lee, as we spoke with him, he talked about the differences in the years past and right now. He brought in Jerry Kill to focus on the offense. He wants to focus on the defense. He's changed his strength and conditioning staff. He's implemented this deal called TTG, Teach the Game, where every single day in training camp, he had his players talk about their story. Now it's time to write it one way or the other.
Fourth down. Pocket is there for Schlee. He'll buy some time. Heave it to the end zone at the back, and it's incomplete. And the ball game is over. Vanderbilt with the upset in week 1. Heartbreak for the Hokies. Diego Pavia voted a captain in preseason camp. He called his mom to tell her about it. They filmed it on social media, an emotional moment for Clark Lee, his quarterback, his new offensive staff, and a defense that stood tall late, Acho.
A defense that stood tall, led by a great defensive coordinator. Great job by Clark Lee. But Diego Pavia, all he does is win. Let's just put it that way. He said when he was young, his mom would say, man, if you win, I'll give you rewards and give you things. And at 9 years old, he ended up wanting to win this wrestling match. And he said, I wanted a motorbike. Well, he won. And he wins, and he wins. And he goes to New Mexico State, and he wins. And he comes here, and he wins. And you're seeing the team rally around him. Impressive performance by Pavia. And the
34-27, the final score. Diego Pavia, as advertised, the Conference USA Offensive Player of the Year, gets it done in his first start in the SEC against a team from just next door out of the ACC. What a game and what a start here in 2024. For Sam Acho, Taylor Davis, I'm Roy Philpott. Good afternoon from Nashville as we send you now to Austin, Texas.